touched off on yesterday's overnight high here. Okay, reuse this. Overnight lows. Right here. We closed around there, so settlement. Let's get our lows together. What's up, what's up, what it do? Alright. In this zone here from same as yesterday. Let me just put this up here. Give me 2 seconds while I get my cup of coffee. Oh, say hello to the people. Ugh, good morning, people. You're gonna go and be a ninja, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
Let me out.
See you later. Go close the door, okay?
Let me out.
Okay. I'll see you later. All right.
No, I never forget.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me go this way with it. Cool. Product placement. Okay, putting the Tradecaster link over in the YouTube chat. We're just sitting at the overnight highs right now. Basically attempting to make all-time highs here. That all-time high level is that line right there, right? We've approached this level a few times this week. Friday, Tuesday, and then yesterday on the open we dumped right at the zone. But now that we're pushing up through here, we got to be really careful. I mean, it just seems like everything just keeps getting ripped up. Nvidia didn't do anything overnight. I mean, pre-market, Microsoft pushing up over that 406.18, coming up to that little resistance line there. Apple broke above 189.97, back into its little range here. If Apple starts to catch a rally, then that all-time high level probably is in sight. It looks like S&P's just made all-time highs right here. Yeah, they're cracking all-time highs right here, right now, right at the open. So we still have a little bit of room on this 30-minute chart here to that all-time high, 793.50, I believe, is that all-time high. So now here we go. We are now open. Could look to fade this right off the jump, but I'm cautious on the that all-time high being really close. So just be mindful. We got this range here, this big value zone there, right? This was yesterday. Pre-market highs from yesterday was here. We're re-accepting there now already. this is going to be a decision point. S&Ps are at all-time highs. NASDAQ didn't quite make it there. So we need to see if we're going to get anything that's going to convince us to continue to rally up. Sure, buddy. You want to continue to push us to the high side. Okay. Or if this selling pressure is actually just going to continue on. Looks like it's pushing down a bit. Yesterday we got this kind of move the opposite direction on open. We got a little push up to the high side. We shorted it on the reversal through, so maybe a breakthrough of the overnight high gives us a continuation play here. I'm just going to be a little bit cautious at these levels right now because I don't trust what's going to happen here. I do like to fade the extremes, right? That is our strategy that we talk about on a daily basis. I like to fade an all-time high, an overnight high, overnight low. But when we're this close to an all-time high, we didn't make the all-time high in the pre-market, so then there is a chance that this does rally through it. The flush of this opening range bottom, a break above the opening range high, could lead us to rally through that all-time high and beyond. So just be cautious on it. I don't see there's no rhyme or reason right now to be where we're at or why we're anywhere near these levels, but we're going to keep going. We are bidding back up here off this high volume node there. There's a support level there. Okay. Grand scheme of things, I would like to short this level, but I'm just cautious based on where we're at right now. Breakdown of 735 and 3/4. That's 733 level from yesterday. That was really a key breakdown point right there. We had a little bit of a rising wedge and broke down from there. We did it, right about here, 737, 735. So I would look to play a short, but it's got to get down in this range here. A breakout highs to all-time highs to me is very difficult. It's hard to justify a buy at all-time highs, but also like when we get there, it tends to just rip. So I'm not opposed to it. Apple is just kind of bouncing around. Amazon rallying. Microsoft also rallying. Broke through that little trend line there. It's not a true trend line, right? It's more of a zone. But it does seem to be rejecting it. NVIDIA selling off. Okay, so let's watch this level here. Could short it through the bottom end here. I want to see maybe a bounce, a failure of that opening range low, and then get that short down through it. I do have a meeting that I got to get to around 11:15, so cutting the stream right on time at 11 today. S&Ps definitely didn't like that all-time high. Sold off a little bit from there. Not trying to catch a falling knife, but also looking to maybe get a setup. We can get, some sort of basing pattern or even a push back up into the zone and then fail. That's when I'll take the secondary touch on that level. You can see Delta bid up all morning, and then started to push down. Right on open, you got that same exact Delta push. Once you got the push to the downside, pretty much followed right through it. We're looking to break through these lows, so that's interesting. So we're getting that little bit of a pop to the high side. Let's see if we can get this thing to not reject. If we do get that rejection, I would like to risk that on a short there. It would be nice to get it up here, but I don't want to get wicked in there. So I'm going to set an entry there. Oh, yeah. Below here. It doesn't want to let me set a stop, so I'm going to flatten it. I don't like when it does that sometimes. Breakdown of here. Stop above that area. If it rejects the opening range low, then possibly look to see this thing rotate down to the bottom. First target being VWAP. Get my ad there. And then the first take would be around there. That's what we're looking for here. If we can get this thing to play out. Short through the big range here, same spot we shorted yesterday. If we're going to rally through the highs here, a break above this opening range high could lead you to rally to the all-time highs. So be careful. I'm trying to be early to a short. All right, NVIDIA's grabbing some liquidity here. Looks like it's got some strength pushing in. Apple now bouncing off of that 189.97. Microsoft did reject that trend line, so the short could come in here. What do we have on the numbers? We don't have anything that's a hot red folder, but any of these minor numbers could give us a little bit of a move. Balance of trade, we were negative 62 billion. Exports was 258, imports was 320. 930 is just the crude. Used car prices are down 9.5%. I don't have, and then the Fed's at 10. So nothing doing. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe over there if you can. Do me a favor. Don't do me no favors. So hit the like button over there. We are just being mindful right now of this all-time high level. If we're going to sell off from here, it may happen pretty quickly. I do have my stop orders down below my liquidity zone here. If we can get that to fail, we should get it to rotate down, right? Push down through here, rotate back to this zone that we had bounced off of yesterday. We did reject this once, twice, 3 times. So if it rejects it again, that makes sense. But also if it does break out from here, all-time highs will get cracked. 800 will probably get touched, and we just see what happens from there. I don't know if I'll play along through there or not, but just be mindful of that being a scenario. We got a strong delta push here, so if we do make new lows, this should get some follow through. I do have an ad here, and I want to take the first contract off at 708. That's the plan. See if the plan plays out, or if we get stopped on that first stop. Not overly, oversized on the stop. We're just trying to look to see if we can get a failure here of this zone, kind of a recovery down to this initial point there around 8 p.m. So we're triggered in for a short. Let's see if it's going to follow through, if this just going to be grabbing some liquidity and bouncing back to the high side. A lot of these names seem to have kind of played along with us. Microsoft is now breaking out a little bit. Apple, but it's failing. Apple bounced, and NVIDIA is continuing to roll over. So NVIDIA has been our leader, so hopefully it can continue to lead us to the downside. We are getting that first initial push. We got to get through that 35 volume node there. If we can get that ad on below this level here, we should be able to get our first contract off right at the top end of here, right before VWAP. That's our first target. So hopefully we could get that on and off if we do get the ad. If not, we're going to be down to break even for the first contract, and then we're only going to be risking to just above the entry. So, that liquidity zone there. We need to see this thing kind of continue its heaviness. Delta is acting in our favor, so we do see the heaviness coming in. I would assume that we should be pushing this down to the further. There we go. We're pushing down further. We're going to take that both stops just above this ignition candle on the breakdown. So there's that push down. We're getting that good push down. Going to trail one of them down to the ad here maybe. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. Be patient on it. Leave this stop up here. Come on, get them together. I got to stop the auto centering for a second so I can get my stops to be together. I don't like when they're separated. I'm only going to be risking about 250-ish above that candle there. 330. 330, because I want to have it in the appropriate spot. With this thing to continue to give us that flush below here. It needs to continue that push if we're going to get that that full follow through. So being patient with it, trying to catch the flush. There we go. Getting that thing to move, getting it to move down. There's the push down. Now that I have that push down, I'm going to break even. If it rotates back here, then I don't mind getting stopped out. Being up that kind of push there. I really want to see this thing give me that follow through to VWAP. We did not quite want to make those all-time highs, it seems. And realistically, let's take one off here. One right here at the bottom, if we can touch that bottom. I'll take one off and then leave that runner on. Doesn't want to tick me out, huh? Come on, tick me out. Get me filled on that. Didn't want to fill me. Damn. Fill me up. Wow. One tick away from getting filled on that. Would love to see it fill it. Dancing around these levels, not quite playing along. Delta's super heavy short. Do I want to get stopped here? I do. I got stopped on that. We're up $5. $5. Did not trust that. I mean, I tried to get that one contract off. It was literally, I mean, on the tick, and it did not fill me up. So just being careful here on that bounce play there. Was trying to get that contract off. I did give it a shot at getting ticked out. It did not get filled. So we're going to look to see. Maybe we get another attempt at an entry here if it pops back up into this zone here. And then we rotate back down. That was unfortunate. Tried to get filled, did not. NVIDIA's bouncing really hard. So that's kind of a telltale sign for us to try and get that contract off. You lost me. I'm not on. Am I back? Am I still here? We're up 5. I'm going to call it still flat because we basically got stopped out for break even there. Still looking at this to be pretty heavy. Looks like now we're trying to get that roll here. Maybe we'll get that where we added now, but we're still watching this NVIDIA play here. It's still bouncing up, so it could give us that just a liquidity grab here for that add and then rotate back to the high side. So we're going to be careful on it. Microsoft's breaking out. Apple pushing onto that low there at 189.97. You can see it here. You see that bounce play. We are right at that 738 level. Oh man, how long was I out? Looking to see this thing get heavy again. I want to get back up maybe into that 750 area, and then I'll look to get short once again from there. We had a nice little move there. We were up about 400 and change. I tried to get that first contract off. It missed me by one tick, and after it missed me, it ran right up to the highs there and stopped me out. So there's the rotation, still pushing down lower. Couple decent candles there. We're sitting right on that that trend line that we had from yesterday that we drawn up, right? That 30-minute trend line. Could see a crack here at 722, 7 there. So just watch for that. But if this fails to break down here. Could get the rotation back to the highs just based on some of these names. Apple did break lower. Nvidia caught that bounce and now it's rotating. So here's that flush point. Do we get it? I can't chase it now. Unfortunately, if maybe I left my stop just above where I was considering, we'd still be in this. We'd have our contract off and be out. So that was a good call. I mean, realistically, looking at this thing for the short below the zone was good. Just couldn't get that contract off, stop off at break even. Sometimes those trades happen. I'm good with that. If you're on the YouTube, hit off on the like. If you want to head over to TradeCaster, we're doing a giveaway this week. Trying to do it by tomorrow for a free month of TradeCaster.com. You know what? I'm going to take the top off this so it can cool off a bit. A little hot coffee. On that 30-minute, just trying to bounce off that. We're really looking to see if this thing is going to be a failed breakdown and maybe a rotation back to the highs on some of these other names gaining some strength, right? Microsoft broke out. Nvidia, it did bounce. Apple is flushing. So that's the one name that's pushing us down. Let's see. Get that pop off and maybe I'll get that short on again here. Delta's not making new highs. We're pushing up here. I will look, like I said, I want to see it get up to that 50. Maybe wick off that 50 and then get short from the same spot that I was short from before. But maybe go on with two contracts right on that failure there. Get up to 50. Hit off on that volume node and then I can get short again. See it get up there. People are still heavy short NASDAQ, I mean S&Ps. So I'm going to give this to guys. No, I don't want to do that. Want this to prove to me that it wants to be rejecting. Get up there. There we go. Want to get up to that 50 level, fail the 50, and then rotate down. But we did bounce from that trend line. Apple caught a little bit of a bounce, not much, but it is starting to get some ticks to the upside. Nvidia right to that high again. If it's going to break through here, then we should possibly see this thing roll to highs. If it fails this level here at 684.94, then we could get the continuation to push down. Microsoft. Just kind of sitting up there above that trend line break. See Apple continue to break to the downside. Want to get through that 740 level. Wanted to see that 50 level get touched and then see if it'll rotate back down from that 50. If we do break into the this opening range, then you could see that thing rotate back to the high end of the opening range, and then I believe there's a good chance that we may rotate through those all-time highs because the S&P's made them pre-market. We did not make the new all-time high in the NASDAQ. So we're getting into the opening range, looking to rotate up. Grab some liquidity here possibly. If that fails, watch 50. And if 50 fails, then our entry should happen. We should be able to get in to the short side, get one off right down here on the breakdown. I'm using where I added before as a target if I do get that failure. But we're not quite convinced yet that it is going to fail. This is purely based on if this just comes into here, grabs some liquidity, and just melts off. Like I said, because Apple did push down to those pre-market lows. Microsoft broke out, so it does have that strength, but it is kind of just sitting at the level where it's at now. And Nvidia cracked that high. So that Nvidia cracking the high pushed us up. It was dragging us down, grabbed all those pre-market orders that has been there, and now it broke out of the point where it was holding yesterday towards the close, right? So just watch that level. We took one trade so far. We're break even. We were up okay on the move. We were with the flush that we got. It was pretty strong. We tried to get one contract off at the very tippy bottom here and did not get filled. And then we got rotated on and stopped out for break even on 2 contracts. Reasonably speaking, if we would have got in with the full 2 at the initial entry, we could have got 1 off at the ad. But the breakdown there was pretty convincing that I was not ready to do that. So realistically, we are just flat because that trade just didn't follow through, right? Even on this second touch, rotate down was more of a liquidity grab to push us back to highs. So we don't have, we have this level here, the 52s. What's up, Mike Trades? Anybody over in YouTube, hit the like button. If you like it over there, come on over to TradeCaster. We're going to be doing a giveaway, a free month of TradeCaster once this stream gets to 25 views. And then we'll go and as we grow, we'll continue to give stuff away. The first one here is going to be that free month of TradeCaster. So I'm pretty excited. We get us to 25 viewers. We'll do a good giveaway. We'll make it exciting. Hopefully we'll provide some value along the way. Yesterday we did well with one good trade, pretty much off the jump, sort of like how we took today, at the same pretty much level and all that. But we got a little more follow through on that trade yesterday than we did today. So this could just continue to be bid up. Let's watch the overnight. Overnight high is really technically right the open. It's this level here. I'm using this level. Probably should be using this level from yesterday's overnight high because that was a true overnight high, and this was right like just the rally pre-market. So this green line is going to be yesterday's overnight high. Today's pre-market highs were right at the open right there at 778. So if we do break yesterday's, look for that to rotate through here. If we push through here, I say 800 is in target, and then we can see what happens at 800. If we fail this level here now, then you could see this to rotate back through our zone. And if we fail the zone, you never know where we can go. Wow, Nvidia popping, Microsoft rotating through back down. Maybe it'll fail that level there and we'll get the continuation to the downside. If not, could look to see this thing pop. Apple still holding below the 189.95 level. Has not recovered it yet. So if we do break the overnight and pre-market lows, post-market, pre-market lows, the rotation down to 188 could be reasonable, or even down to 188.98, so 189 level. If we do that break, then this breakdown should come to the 150. If 150 flushes with a good push here, then we're going to get triggered in. We're going to get triggered in with 2 contracts, and we're going to take one off right there at 29, where we had the ad before. So let's see if how this plays. We're going to definitely, I'm going to guess we're going to get triggered in on this because it's going to look to at least grab what we have. But I see this thing to be a short failure of that opening range. My stop is that opening range low. So if we enter back into opening range low, then we're going to be out on that. But let's see if we can get one contract off down here. If we flush 35, there's a volume node there. Should get this contract off. Then we'll be break even on one and let that runner go. So let's see what happens here. Markets can get heavy quick at highs, but also at the same time they can get strong and continue to rally. So let's see. Let's get through this 35 level here first. Get through the 35, and we'll get that one contract off at 29.25. So we're pushing low, pushing low, pushing lower. Really, that first target should be VWAP, but based on how we got ticked out before, or we didn't get ticked out before, we didn't get filled. So I'm trying to get filled on this one contract and get myself risk free. There we go. We got one off. So we are risk free on the trade. Our stop is going to be at break even. and let's see where this runner goes. I want this to rotate pretty much all the way back down to lows to see how much we can get on this. We have to watch VWAP. If we can break VWAP, then we could rotate down to that 700 level. As we approach 706, 707 there is a high volume node from previous breakout points, failure points there. So we'll watch that. If we bounce from here, we bounce from here. No big deal. I'm just going to go past break even to 1. We're at VWAP now. There we go. Still pushing. Currently sitting about 70 ticks in profit. We secured 1 for 265, and now we're letting this runner go. See if we can get it to continue to have the follow through to the downside. We grabbed liquidity once. We grabbed liquidity a second time. If we fail this VWAP again, we may bounce. I mean, but if VWAP just gets kind of cut through, then I expect this to roll over or to, I mean, overnight lows are down here. We should touch those at some point. Maybe even the close from yesterday is a good first reasonable target that might get a really good reaction from it. But if I can be patient and hold this this runner, we should be able to maximize our profits on it. Already up what we were up yesterday, 645. We're over what we were up yesterday. So would like to get this to follow through. Like I said, if it doesn't follow through, so be it. You know, it is what it is. We just, you know, we took off the one that we wanted to take off, and now we're letting this one break even plus a couple dollars cover fees and see if it'll continue to rotate down. That kind of selling pressure with those two big bars, you would expect another push to the downside before it decides to take another bounce. So I want to watch, see what happens if at the VWAP again, if it gets there. I'm going to be mindful of my delta. We did not make new lows on delta. We pushed down really hard, but we didn't make new lows. So this could continue to rotate higher from here. But we do get that value, like I said, that volume node at 35, 36. So that should act as enough resistance to not get us stopped out if we're going to continue to the downside. 8:57. So 9 o'clock's incoming. Those hourly closes tend to... do I get in on it? Well, good. I got in at a time that didn't break my rules. This is going to pop up. No. Stops in a really good spot there. If it's going to get taken out, it's going to get taken out and run up. So hopefully we can continue to the downside from here. So my rule is not entering in a position within 5 minutes of the hourly. I got in that one at 53, so we were good. I want to see what happens at 9. Hopefully we'll still be in this position at 9. I don't want to give back anything because, you know, I don't want to put my stop back up higher because I do believe at 9 o'clock we could get some sort of rotation off of these levels, either a pop off to grab some more liquidity, or if we're down lower, maybe we can get the flush to continue down. But I don't want to risk any more than will be tolerated. You know, we're up, like I said, we were up decent. Secured profits already. This is all free money. Whatever happens here from below our stop, beyond, sitting below value area, point of control, which is 36 even. Stop was not filled to the tick, so probably gonna get filled here because it looks like that's a strong push up there. Yep. All right, so we're out all flat there, plus 315 so far to start the day. Ain't mad at that. We gave back about half. But if that would have continued to follow through, we would have been in really good shape. Like I said, 9 o'clock comes, we could get a real pop push to the upside. I didn't have any of these charts up, but Apple was continuing to roll over, so we should have got some more follow through unless NVIDIA gave another leg up, which is still holding up there. Microsoft is giving that bounce off of that trend line break, so 2 out of the 3 biggest names are pushing higher, so that could be rallying us there to 50. NVIDIA has basically been the leader, so for whatever it's doing, if it's showing some more strength, then the NQ is going to show more strength as well. Not going to be upset being up 315 across 3 accounts. You know, once if they're all 3 funded, then oh, I didn't do that. Fine. accidentally put an order in there because I was trying to check stuff, but we did not get filled, which is good. I'm going to make sure there's no orders out there. No. Okay, we're good. Sometimes you get a little crazy with your fingers. You click some buttons, things start to happen. Yeah, so up 315. 315. 315. All the counts copied good. Want to see the trade here. You can see first off, we got 260 off. We had our stop just past break even, up $50. So we took that 260 and then 50 for a good 315. Sometimes you'll see, like yesterday I had winning trades, and I'm not saying yesterday. The first trade we took today, it was technically a winner, break even, $5 winner. But you're going to see one of the positions positive, one of the positions negative, and they just cost average it. So if you do see that on the trade positions, you're like, oh, you have a losing trade there. I don't really technically have a losing trade. I just have a cost average position that ended up getting stopped out. You gotta stop muting me. I'm offended. No, just kidding. Could be getting this short here again. Think that this is trying its best to play along with this level. 35 3/4 is this volume node here. It seems like it's a pretty important level. That's where I have my stop, just above. I'm not going to take it right now, but you do have a little bit of like a sort of like a head and shoulders type deal going on. We're approaching 35 3/4, which held up there. We have a trend line that we broke down from yesterday, kind of re-accepted above, and we re-accepted above again. I got you. All good. This on this side. All right, like I said, if we can get this stream up to 25 viewers for tomorrow by 11 or anytime, if we can get 25 viewers over here, I will be doing a free month of Tradecaster giveaway. So bring your friends, family, grandma, grandpa, whoever is a trader, get them on Tradecaster, get the view count up to 25, and we're going to do that giveaway come tomorrow, hopefully. If not tomorrow, whenever we get to 25 viewers, that's when we'll do that free Tradecaster giveaway. So I do plan on giving away a bunch of stuff throughout the year. Right now we're focused on trading these levels. If 35 breaks, which it looks like it did, 35 3/4 breaks and holds, potential continuation to the downside on this. We have this little area that's acting as a support from here to here. Right, that acted as some support there. We are getting this little lower high, even further lower high. Never made it back into that opening range, so we are at these highs. S&P is pushing down. Could look to see this thing fade off and rotate. You got the same deal going on in Delta, except Delta is now making new lows, so possibly looking to hold and flush. If I get one guy on here, maybe you can risk one guy, see how far we can get down, but maybe we get back up into this zone one more time, and we can crack. If I would really like, if we can get above this little wedge, give me like a wick above here into that 51, 52, that would be ideal. Then fail a breakdown one more time. Like I said yesterday, failed breakouts tend to rotate hard to the other side. So I won't look to get in like on any limit orders or anything like that. I want to see the a breakout from here, push up, even push just above the high here, get another stop. You can see that there's a super high volume node there at 50. So if we could wick above 50, get into that low volume area right here, and then fail it, and then rotate back into this zone, I'll take a short through here and then push to the downside. We might not be able to get that because right now, 1, 2, 3, this is the fourth touch here, VWAP breaks. We're sitting right on that trend line, possibly could crack at the 30-minute level. So if it cracks, you could get a quick hard flush right immediately. We took a 2 entry, took 1 off, got stopped at break even for the rest, came back to the highs, could have played the same exact level again, took off the same contract again, and been probably stopped again on a bounce, or you get the continuation. So if you're somebody that likes to play the same level over and over again, that's the kind of way you would want to do it, right? If you had 2 on, really how you would want to do it is if you had 2 on and then you had 1-to-1 on your risk, then you leave your stop above, and then if you get stopped out up here, you're break even totally on the trade, and then as price moves back through your zone, or as it approaches your zone again, you could add another one on, then rotate it back down, take that one off, secure that profit, and leave that one on until it actually gets stopped out. That's a good way to go about it as well. So there are a few ways to skin a cat in this game. I think overall, like for me, in the history of my trading, where I've done both types, where I take one off and move to break even, or if I leave one on and have the stop up here and have the stop get taken out, that's break even. This is at least up 300. If I add again, maybe I get another, couple hundred on it, but still have that, I'd have to get off a second contract for it to be a total winner, a net winner. So let's see if we can get that idea to play out here, where we break out from this, fail that breakout, rotate back down into this wedge, and then fail the bottom. That's what I would like to see. I am very standoffish to play breakouts at highs. So you probably won't see me take a long right now. Push above 50, 50. Get into this low volume node. Get some people thinking that there's going to be longs with a nice whippy move. Fail that level. Come back down to the bottom of this candle. Get entered in on a failed breakout. And rotate shorts. But tilt is heavy short too, so that could lead us to squeeze. So back-to-back days, we were a little more aggressive on that early morning trade, which is good. It worked out the last 2. This first one, we instead of taking 2 on, taking 1 off, we ended up going with adding one, and then moving to break even on the whole position. So we kind of faltered on the breakdown, but that was really a strong push to the downside. So if we would have had it on and got that 1 off here, would have been a little bit of a winner. But overall, 2 pretty good trades executed, and as much as we could maximize the profits on it without taking off both contracts, just to give it an idea for a runner. So we do fail this level here. Once again, I want to see this break down, and I'll take a 2 contract on it below here. Price would not get back above in that zone, and then, but if we continue this, this is actually a pretty steady move to the upside. So if it continues to hold this level, then we're gonna remove this order. But if we fail this breakout, return back below here, below this candle, could fail that breakout and rotate us down. And that's what I'm gonna look to see. I'm gonna look, and I'm actually not going to take 1 off at the bottom if it does fail it, because I want to see it break the bottom because of the failed breakout to the high side. If we break the bottom, I will put my stop above this, and then as we approach the bottom, we'll go break even and beyond. This is popping. If it breaks the overnight high here, from 2 sessions ago. Not last night's overnight high because that's technically here, I guess. But the previous overnight high, if we break above it, I would be mindful of the 800 level and the all-time highs. Nvidia is breaking through the highs or trying to make new highs. Amazon, Apple. Apple made lows, bounced, and now is wicking off, looking to rotate lower. And Microsoft went right back to that trend line, bounced right off of it, and is now continuing high side as well. So, with Apple being such heavily weighted, it's kind of holding back some of these breakouts on the NQ. But if we do crack that 69 level there, you may get that full pop. You see it's just continuing to roll down. It has to 188. I mentioned that if it did break down, it had to at least at 190 levels, that area, that zone, not 190, 189.90, 189, 88, 88. So 189, that's the level I was expecting. That's why I don't like these. Everything has different prices. Stick with one thing, the NASDAQ. So we are pushing lows as the NASDAQ is pushing highs. You can see right there. Nvidia cracked the high and is pushing. Microsoft cracked the high and is pushing. Amazon completely stuck in a range. Goog bouncing. So Apple is just the weak link here. With everything getting driven up, a crack of the high here and up into 800 and up to the all-time highs could lead Apple to catch a bid from this 189 even level to rotate. But if it continues to fail and drag us down, some of these other things are going to be. So this idea kind of is done. I'm going to flatten that. That idea was solely based on if this was a failed breakout, we were going to fade that move. Clearly, it was a confirmed breakout, right? Because you could have easily caught $1,200 on that. Tilt was heavy short, so that also told me that we're probably going to rotate highs. There's your breakout of the high. We're going to magnet right to 800. I'm sure of it. 793. There you go. There's a break. 798. So the breakout here was a beautiful move. If you're a breakout trader of a trend of a wedge, one contract. No, actually, it's 2 contracts. It's $2,000. So it's $1,000 move per contract right there on the breakout. Now that we have broken all-time highs, I have no idea where it's going to go. We're going to let it dance around a bit. I am uncertain on where things go. So like I said, if we get the NASDAQ to play along and these things drive it up, they will continue to push Apple higher. Like a Microsoft, that's not. Microsoft for 1063. Nvidia breaking. Apple now pushing. Break of these all-time highs. I could just continue on. I would love to just put like one on and see how high we could get, but I don't want to just chase this thing, through these all-time highs. S&P's made new highs. I'm going to use this as the old previous breakout point there. Now we're in blue skies. So you had accumulation, started to hold, got a lower high here, a higher low at this level here at the zone, held above VWAP. Price attempted to get to that all-time high pre-market. I said if we re-accept above and into this opening range, you can see a rotation right to the high of it and then through up to 800. 800 got tagged, and now we are kind of just sitting there. If we kind of rotate back down in, maybe we'll look to take the breakout above that 800 level if you're looking for a long through into all-time highs. But I don't have a ton of confidence in a breakout because I have no idea where it's going. We have no levels. I'm a level to level kind of guy. So for me, trying to take a breakout of all-time highs is very, 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 very difficult. We're up 300. Can't be mad at that. So unless there's another good pullback like into this range here where we could kind of look to take a breakout of that over that all-time high again, I may look to grab it. But reasonably speaking, I want to see it sort of falter. I want to see some acceptance back down into here, and then I want to fade it. I'm a fader. But if you're looking at this as an entry, it was a really great opportunity here. Above 50 was where I was saying that super high volume area right there. If you got a breakout above that and did not fail, then the continuation was on. Absolutely. Also on the 30-minute, you got, so that trend line we had, this is the same one from yesterday. If you look at it, we wicked it once, we touched it again, and we bounced off of it from 35.75, 35.75. So which is right here, right in that area, pop right over that point of control, and then it's been off to the races since. So that's, you know, a fantastic entry if you're a continuation momentum type trader. That's just, like I said, for me, it's something that it's very difficult for me to take. We now have a high volume node at 810, or an increased volume area at 810, so that'll be something to note. Moving forward, I'll take this. I'll watch some of these names here. There's continuation. Nvidia faltering a little bit. Microsoft still rallying. Microsoft has now recovered that sell-off, right? So let's be mindful of that. Could get some reaction there, but also does have room to push up above, up to 412 and into 414. So, you know, on a break, you know, we just saw what kind of momentum you can get on a wedge break, and this is a longer term type wedge that we're looking at there. So just be mindful of that. Like I said, it recovered that. It could get above here. I'm going to give it a little bit of a box so we can see it. So with one contract, if you're still holding one, you know, you're sitting right around 1,500 per contract on the breakout from that point there. We're talking about levels. We talked about how I can't play that kind. I mean, I can. I got to start trying to implement that because it seems like it's been working, these wedge pattern type deals that's been going on. If you're over on YouTube, hit the like. You know, you got some good value of information of how we talk through some of this stuff. How we played the same level 2 times, came up with some profits there. We're up 315 on these 2 entries here. Didn't get any follow through. That lack of follow through told me to kind of stay out, be mindful of this to hold, which it did right here. Once we started talking about this level holding and failing to try and break down, we said it was going to likely push to try and break above this wedge and above 51. I said the high volume node is 50. So above 50, if we got into the low volume node and failed, we were looking to take a failed breakout rotation to the downside, which never happened. So if you are playing the opposite end of that right here, the breakout of that 50, once I said, if we get a continuation and into the opening range, then 800 was clear-cut target. You know, we're gonna run, if we're gonna run through into the high end of this range, we were gonna break out and hit off on all-time highs, which we did. Now we've created new all-time highs right there at 824.50. I'm not ready quite yet to short this because it tends to give it a couple pushes to the high side before it wants to fade. So I'm not really looking for that. I may look to play if Microsoft gets into that box there for a short. Apple's been really dragging us down, but that rally up helped us. If you get into that 189.97, if you get into that Microsoft box, if you get Nvidia to continue to push up a little more and fail some of these highs here, you could possibly see that's the time when you're going to want to short this high. But I don't have that conviction yet. We're not going to short this thing. Markets are making new all-time highs for a reason. They want to continue on to the upside. So we're going to be just watching this, being patient, letting some of this information digest. And then if we do get an opportunity where we see that maybe one of these wedges, we get a divergence on it, right? We're starting to get a little bit of that where we're going to push highs and Delta's not playing along. So I think there are some buyers that are timid right here, but they are going to still look to try and come in, get another push higher. We're going to look to see some sort of, not like a wedge, maybe a rising wedge or something like that, where we can take that lack of momentum. If there's one more try at a push up, a failed breakout, any sort of failed breakout, failure, rotate back down, that's what we're going to look to take. But we got to let that happen. We can't just start to do it here. You could take a breakout and continue on to 900 from here. There's really no information. Everything that you're seeing is brand new information. Brand new information at all-time highs. Markets are so happy that we are so far into credit card debt, that we're not cutting interest rates, that the economy is stronger than it ever should be. No big deal. Let's push the stock market to all-time highs, right? So I've learned over the course of these last, since 2017, that market doesn't really care. And the famous saying is that the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So if you think that something's going to happen and you're going to keep hammering something, and the idea that you have is it's like, in line with all, like if you were the financial planner of the country, all of the information points to one thing, and the market does whatever it wants, right? It continues to rally to all-time highs. So that is something that you got to remember. You can't fall in love with your just pure macroeconomic environment thesis. You can't be Michael Berry, because that happened once for him, and then he's been short billions of dollars, and I'm pretty sure he's out burnt at this point, unless he got out. So just be mindful of that. People are taking these big time shots at shorts from these highs, and the market doesn't have to do anything. It just does what it wants. So we're sitting in profit. We're up 315 right now. I am not looking to give that back, trying to short highs, picking a top, because I don't have a top. I believe that the last few times we broke out all-time highs, we got some pretty gnarly rips to the upside, so you could continue to maybe see this thing pop. Like I said, if Microsoft gets into this target zone here, you could see maybe that start to fail there and rotate back down. Then maybe I'll be interested in looking at the NQs, because Nvidia will also have to not break some of these levels. Let's give Nvidia a zone. Nvidia's zone is more, it's wider. That's the start of it. If it breaks that and holds, then you can continue upside moves on the NQ. Apple was leading us to the downside and now has totally recovered that downside move, that initial, heaviness that we had. Like I said, if we do break all-time highs, if you are a equities trader and you saw Apple down at these lows, if you can see these names continue to push us upside and you get a push on the NASDAQ, that should be your indication that you should get long Apple to rotate us back to some of these higher levels, or at least to open, somewhere in this range. So hopefully, if you're an equities trader and you're in here and you're playing some of these big cap names, then you can get some value out of that as well. Make some trades. I'm not trading any of these equities, but I'm calling them out, letting you know certain levels. We place, these levels are pretty consistent on a day-to-day basis. Get rid of that. Anybody over on YouTube, head over to tradecaster.com. Give yourself that 7-day free trial. We're doing a giveaway this week, so when I get the stream on Tradecaster 25 viewers, we're going to do a giveaway. So look out for that. 25 viewers, that's all I need. And then as we grow the account, as we continue to hit milestones on Tradecaster, I'm going to continue to give stuff away, give away money, give away coffee, give away clothing. Like I said, this first one's a pretty big one. A 1 free month of Tradecaster.com, full access, everything you got in your free trial, and then some. Check out all the rooms. Don't just see mine while you're in that free month. Get the most value you can out of that free month. Alrighty. Gotta have the product placement here. Look at the Delta. Delta's trying to push down, price is trying to push highs. Could possibly look to see maybe just a quick failure of this level. If it doesn't make that level, if it doesn't break out, or if it does break out above, it could be a false break above here to get some longs involved, to get just a quick sell. Nothing like total rollover, but you gotta watch when it's moving like this. You can see that that's not a valid trend line, but watch these levels. Watch this thing wedge out here. Now the Delta's playing along and you get the break out of it, right? So this is why we don't mess around trying to pick tops. I know people are trying to do it. They're getting in here. Let's try and short this. That's why that Delta started to get heavy, right? Because people saw this approaching that high. They say, okay, let me try and get this short. I'm going to front run this. This is going to be the high. This is where it's going to stop. Look at this 30-minute candle. Look at that thing. That is huge. One contract, if you're still holding it from the breakout point, the bounce point, it's $2,500 per contract. And you see some of these guys playing these 15 lots, right? So you can only imagine, let me just show you what 10 lots can get you from this breakout. Let's be reasonable. You could have got 15 grand on that to that first high side move, if you didn't catch the whole thing. Just 10 contracts. So the power of leveraging contracts as you grow your size and you manage your risk to the downside. If you can get some size on, you can get some size off. You're making good money on these trades. This is just all-time high territory. We have nothing but blue skies above us. Reasonably speaking, we went from 800, we can go to 900. I don't have any rhyme or reason for it. This just is what it is. So, let's see what Deck's talking about. Nothing. If anybody's in anything or caught this long here from that breakout point, let me know, because that's money right there. Just how yesterday was more of like a downtrending type day where you could catch some of those moves as you got pullbacks. I mean, pops, I should say. Let's look back here. Yesterday, we got that short from the top here, and we ended up kind of just trailing ourselves out down in this range. Then we caught a couple little pieces on this, but then you could see you got this thing to wedge out, and you get this kind of wedge here, and then you get a continuation on the breakdown. Trend day, actual breakdown, trend continuation, right? That leg is pretty much equal to this leg, and then you start to see failures. You build up, fail, pop, fail. But now you're on the other end of the V, so now we're starting to trend up, starting to work our way up. Overnight, you're getting that pullback because just lack of liquidity. People kind of maybe taking some profits from this move to the high side. You sit on this level here, and then you're just rotating higher, push off, reject that level there. And now we got crude oil inventories that just came out. Crude came out with and then get my notification. I usually get an oil notification on my screen, didn't pop up. There's like you see, every time it pops to these highs, you're seeing Delta get heavy. That's a lot of sellers coming in, trying to hit that sell order at the top, trying to pick a top. I don't know if I'm convinced quite yet for this to be the top. 900 isn't that far off from here. We're only, the NASDAQ rips and runs pretty quickly. So just watch that. If you get a crack of this, maybe you get a quick little move down, but I don't know. Look at this wedge. Delta popping down. 57% short. Still not quite time yet, I don't think. Welcome everybody to Policing Pips streaming channel here. We are trading the NASDAQ, but we talk about some of the equities. We talk about macroeconomic events, all that deal. Really just give reasons behind some of these trades. So Apple is now starting to fail that 189.95, 190 level. Let's see. Microsoft, did it push all the way to that zone? It got right to that zone, right? So this is when I said, all right, if we get Microsoft up to that zone and NVIDIA up into that area there, then we could possibly look to start to fade it. NVIDIA basically came within, 1 or 2 pennies of that zone. So if we get back into that, see if it's going to fail or if it's going to accept. Like I said, Microsoft has been is the heaviest weighted at the moment, I think, still. If not, NVIDIA, Apple failing that level, still trying to pull us down. So even with that pop to all-time highs, Apple's just not playing along. It did got that bounce, but I want to see Microsoft fail this zone. If it doesn't fail this zone, then we're not at the top of that NQ yet. Right. That's the reason for that zone there. We're going to watch Microsoft at these levels, see what happens here. Microsoft pushes AI in India, Snapstack plunges. Microsoft is in talks to end trade bodies cloud computing complaint. Help 2-minute Indians in a small city learn AI skill. 2 million Indians in small cities learn AI skills. So it seems like some of the Microsoft news has been popping it to the high side. That along with NVIDIA. These are the 2 names that are really carrying us up here, right? Everything else is just following these 2 because Apple's just been falling. And there's not a ton of real news on Apple. Apple leads the management top 50 All-Stars. Vision Pro, the next iPhone. Steve Jobs didn't say that. So, I mean, I've seen more and more of those Vision Pros being put out there, and Apple's still kind of pushing down. So, just people are just not thrilled about the company at the moment, I guess. I've been on that screen this whole time. Nobody told me. Sorry, I apologize. Did not realize that we were still on that screen over there. So yeah, like I was talking about, without being on the screen, I don't know how long I was over there. Since it's only been a few minutes, 4 minutes. Shit. So, all right. So Microsoft's at this level, seeing if it'll fail here. This is a reason for me to try and maybe catch a little bit of a short off the highs here, just because it is kind of faltering. I'm getting a little bit lazy. I don't want to play that then. Price is kind of speeding up. NVIDIA didn't quite make it to the zone. Maybe give it one more push up. So if both of them can make it to that area, and fail, then you can look to see this thing, maybe get some people profit taking. It's a sell zone from before, could sell off again. All you gotta do is play these levels and catch little pieces of these moves. Am I looking for a full rotation to the lows? No. If I look for a short at this time, I would be looking to catch fast move. I would look to see this long. I want to see the thing get a little bit more long tilt. It's 57% long, so it's starting to creep up to the long side. So We had a lot of people picking tops. Now they're like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna flip to long. So that's another confluence in this possibly going short. So Nvidia's failing. Microsoft rejected that zone. I keep clicking the wrong button. I apologize. Give me one more push up there. Maybe try and make a new high. Fail that level. Don't make a new high on Delta. Maybe get above this value area high and then re-accept below the value area high. I could risk just to the high here. We'd risk our day on it if we were to try and do that now, right? That's not what we want to do. So I want to see a push up higher. Give me a better entry point for the failed breakdown, right? Microsoft is rejecting that zone, so we may not give ourselves a chance to get an entry. And Nvidia is rolling off overall, so it came to like a tick on that zone. Didn't quite make it all the way there. And like I said, Microsoft pushed right into it and is now selling from it. Apple, I'm sure, is just continuing its sell side pressure, which it is. I'm going to watch Microsoft. Could help us out here. This is where I got to look for maybe we can get a break above here. Like I said, that value area high at 856 currently. Wick that, diverge the delta, get the tilt up to like 67, 70% plus long, and then want to see Microsoft and Nvidia play along, maybe give one more bounce into that zone and then fail that zone. Nvidia would be nice if it just like kind of, you can see how it's wicking here, grabbing some liquidity. Maybe that's going to give us that one more pop into that liquidity zone there. You can see it here, bang, 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 bang. That area there, if we can get into that area, I mean, maybe I just do as a tick off of it. So realistically, my zones aren't perfect, but they are pretty close. So, if it approaches it by like that much, then there's a chance it's going to hit it. I'll watch Microsoft, see if it gets a failure. If it pops into that zone, fails that zone again, maybe down below 411, we can get this to push. Not trying to pick tops, just trying to catch a portion of a either profit taking or something there. So like I said, I was considering it right here because of the ability to limit the risk to the high side, as well as the delta divergence that we were starting to get, right? You were getting that attempt to push the highs, and delta wasn't even playing along at all. Right now it's kind of doing the same thing. It's pushing down to the bottom of this little wedge here. So that's where we're at right now. Could be down here, but I'm really keeping it 27, 28, 29 degrees. Try to keep them equal. Could be a bull flag. Could be just a breakdown point. If you think we're providing some value, hit the like button. I'm not sure how the likes go on Tradecaster. Give me 5 stars. I'm just here to say what my ideas are, show what price action is doing, give you an understanding of how some of these correlate to each other, how they sometimes disconnect, and then try and make some money. We're in all-time highs. Normally, I'm not a trend line guy, like where I'm drawing channels all over the place. I'll draw a couple here and there, like down here. I'll draw this one because that was an interesting wedge pattern that was trying to form. This, I don't care about that one, and really I do care about the top end of this. The bottom end of this doesn't quite really matter, but if we do get like a little whippy action below it and then rotate through the highs, could give me an indication that we're going to continue on as a breakout. Microsoft still heavy from this area. There you go. Did Nvidia get to that point? Nope. market to get above here. Give me that idea. Let it play out. Micros are short again. NASDAQ is 50-50 tilt-wise. We've slowed down quite a bit on this large rally. That 30-minute candle prior was about, what does it say here? Let's see. That move was 570 ticks. $142 points. So 77. So right back down to 17,793 would be about 50%. So right here would be 50% of this entire move. So if you get a pullback into there, that could be a buy for, you know, it's the initial breakout point. It's that previous all-time high. It's exactly 50% from the top to the bottom. So you could look to see maybe this thing rotate to here, get you some liquidity to rotate you right back down up to the highs on a trending day like today, if that opportunity presents itself. Microsoft is still getting heavy at that area. NVIDIA. You can see those tails grabbing that liquidity down here. Could be looking for that one more push into that zone. Microsoft still failing that zone. So that zone was pretty good if you were a Microsoft trader. I'm glad I was able to put that out there into the ether. 60% short on the micros. MES. 64% short. So people are trying to pick the top here. I want to see this thing give me one more push up before I decide to short it. I think I'm just a bit too soon on a short here. May even let 10 o'clock come around. Like I said yesterday, I tend to take some of my better trades post 10 o'clock once levels start to establish themselves. And, you know, some of the other European players are kind of getting out of the market and going to bed or going to work, whatever they're doing, going home. I just think right now is a bad time for me to try and pick a top or even try and play a breakout or anything like that. Like the move to be taken was down here. When I was talking about this, if you were looking to be a breakout type trader there, my strategy that I tell everybody for the most part is I fade extremes. So I'm trying to fade overnight highs, overnight lows, value area zone. So this was a pretty important value zone. It was approaching all-time highs. We didn't quite make it all the way there for that pre-market session. We did rotate back down to what you would consider, I guess, the value area for the week. And now we've used that as support and carried on, right? So once you see stuff like that occur, this really yesterday was that grab of liquidity right below that. This was the top end of value area from last week. So we've accepted above it. Should have realized that kind of a pullback here could have led to some of this all-time high just purely based on technicals. And then you got Microsoft now rejecting this high, but now NQ is breaking above there. So let's see if we can get that thing to fail. NVIDIA is looking to pop. You can see my chart that I trade on just above, and you can see the one that we're looking at right here. I want to see this tilt get above 70% long. I want to see maybe we even can crack the high here, and then you can start to look to mitigate your risk. You know, where am I going to be wrong, right? I'll be wrong if price gets back above those highs. So how can I limit my risk, right? I said I wanted to wait till 10, but I don't know. This is trying to do what I want it to do. If Microsoft continues to not play along into that zone, then we should be able to get this thing. Like I said, I wasn't trusting it short through the bottom, but with a failed breakout to the high, then I can look to see if I could fail that and rotate it back down at that point. See this thing fail here. Delta never making it to the highs. Microsoft failing. I'm going to give it a shot on a 1 if we can fail here. I'll risk to the high of this candle there. Let's see if we can get that to roll over from here. $50.50 on the tilt. That could have been just like a grab of liquidity to continue this to the high side. So that's why I'm just a little standoffish on it. I want it to fail fast. Only trying it with the single contract because I'm not trying to pick tops here. I'm just kind of trying to grab some of this, make some money, and go away because this is still super strong. Just this delta flattening out and price trying to make new highs also tells me a little bit of something that price is really slowing down. Microsoft is now trying to push up a little bit. If it gets into that zone there and then fails one more time, then that could be our entry. So that was another reason why I didn't enter right below and into here, was because I didn't trust this as a true failure. Now you're getting that push, trying to break above. If it breaks above the highs, then we're going to stand off and be mindful. But if we can fail this kind of value area, value area high volume node, if Microsoft hits off on this level, now that NVIDIA is in there, NVIDIA now broke up and now is in that zone. Microsoft pushing to that zone once again. That's a second touch on it. And Apple's still pushing lower. So if Microsoft fails the zone again, since now NVIDIA is in there, NVIDIA wicked into that zone is failing also. So I'm thinking that this is the time where we can possibly maximize our ability to take this thing short. Not there, right here. I'm going to leave Microsoft on here so you can see it on the screen. If we do end up getting a short, I'm going to look to see it rotate down to the bottom of this little wedge here. And then if I can mitigate my loss, I'm going to kind of trail my stop tight. Just try to catch some of the move. Not looking for a full on rotation to the other side because this is a pretty strong market. I want to see what NVIDIA is doing there. It's still rejecting it, and Apple pushing to the downside. So if Microsoft plays, we could get this failure here. NQ tilt is average entry 847, long 60%. I'm willing to take this shot just based on all the confluences that I have from these equities. The delta not making new highs, not playing along with new buyers coming in right here. So, just a few little factors that tell me, hey, let's try this one time. If we get to that 9:55 time frame and we don't get triggered in, then we're going to not play along and we're not going to I'm not going to enter this, but because if this is going to continue to grind on up, then we're going to not want to play. But you can see how Microsoft is not wanting to get through that 412 area, and NVIDIA played up right into it and wicked off, and now it's rotating, and Apple is also trying to push to the downside. So if now the same reason when we were going up, if this breaks down now, Apple should now continue to the downside. So if you're an Apple trader, risking to that 189.97 area, that zone, if you can get the failure of this NQ and some of these, NVIDIA continues to roll and Microsoft continues to push from that zone, you would expect this all to roll over. Not like I don't expect a ton, but like I said, if you could reasonably get it to the initial breakout point, that'd be great. But that's just wishful thinking there. Wishful thinking is, getting into overnight lows after breaking all-time highs. But you could tell the reasoning behind why I'm starting to look for a short here and giving myself an opportunity to take a short that's a little bit of a cheaper risk, and then also, can maximize some upside profit on it if I can trail it correctly. But I am going to be kind of quick on this one if it does play out, because I don't want to get caught in a trap and give back my entire day. Although, that I'm risking right now is kind of that. So Delta now giving a little bit of a pop. You're getting a push to the high side, but that high is right there. You're not really getting totally up into that area where Delta got to prior. So the buyers are not totally interested. But they are coming in. You can see they're coming in. All right. Might invalidate my idea here. Wait, I'm gonna wait till 55. Still didn't quite make that new high. Nvidia trying to push into that zone one more time. But if we crack this little wedge pattern to the downside, that'll give you some hard, fast selling. I think we may have just touched that top exactly. Oh, the want to short from right here is there. Trying to keep myself out of that though. Try not to get run over. Microsoft's pushing back up. I think we're gonna probably continue this on. Now you're looking at this here. Instead of this being important, this is important. This is not important to me at the moment, right? Kind of in this area there. I'll give this some importance. Got to create some zones, got to create some interest when you're at all-time highs, got to figure out what price is doing at certain areas. So that's why I have some of these lines, some of these zones starting to get drawn up just to kind of indicate importance, not necessarily trade the level exactly, but give it some sort of a structure while we're at places that aren't quite there. So Nvidia pushing down and the NQ is pushing up. We're gonna, if it gets tilty long, you could possibly look to short through here instead. Just looking at Nvidia alone, because it's been bringing us to the upside. Microsoft right into that area could be the failure. I want to see a heavy tilt long side. If I could see that, then we can possibly get this thing to roll from here, and then I can continue to just trail it hard, tight. Yeah, 66% long, so it looks like tilt's gonna push up a little bit. Tilt's pushing up. Delta didn't make new highs. Price made new highs. If we can cancel out this ignition candle here, ignition candle, breakout candle, I'm gonna risk to the high there and try to rotate this down. Unless Nvidia plays long once we start to break above. There we go. Starting to push. If this fails, hopefully it fails hard and fast, so I just leave my entry behind. There we go. That's the push to the downside. Talking about it. Nvidia also playing along, not quite pushing anywhere higher. Microsoft failing that level again also, right? You can see Microsoft got in there and failed it. So we talked ourselves into this trade, got ourselves all the reasons to get in. If we can continue this push down now, we should be able to mitigate and get the break even if we can push down into that volume node below 50 there. I want to see this continue to fail. Microsoft kind of has to play along. Nvidia has to play along. Nvidia, come on, play along a little bit. There we go. There's that push. Like I said, I'm going to be really quick on this. I don't want to be involved in something that is going to rip my face off on a strength. So I'm at break even now. So risk-free trade for me. If it does continue to press to the downside, it's got to get through 50. There's a volume node there. There you go. There's a push. So I'm going to just get to the top of the body of this candle. So now that's risk-free there. I do see this. If we can get to the bottom of here, that's going to be that, we're going to get above 50. Talking every reason out why I took this trade. I hope somebody else could get involved. I hope it plays out nicely and we can get this thing to follow through and sellers just continue to pile in because now they're saying, oh, the top is in, let's get it. So 50 is that node. So I want to get to the bottom here at 38.40 and now I'm only going to risk those 10 points. So there we go. I'm at the point where I'm now profited on it. We're up pretty good. We got 73 ticks in profit. So now I'm going to let this thing decide what it wants to do right here. This is going to be a key point here. Let's see if we can crack that. Let's see if we can crack below there. If we can crack below there, I'm looking at this high volume node at 810. I noted that 810 zone earlier when we were there because of how price was acting. I want to see that get tagged. I did say I was going to be kind of tight and quick with this, so if we do break this one more time, I'm going to get below. My stop is going to be just above here, but I got to get there first, get and hold below here. We're trying to maximize our gains on this. We're up 800 right now. Hold one more time, push down one more time, push one more time down, push one more time down here. Get heavy, get heavy, get heavy. There's a lot of buyers at this location. So just be mindful of this to bounce. I'm waiting for this to get below this 35 one more time. If I can get below here one more time, stop's going right here. If not, actually it's going to go right here, just above this area, the bodies of these candles. I'm going to leave it right there for now, and then I'm going to move it. I just dropped it so I could reset it. I don't want to give back a ton more. If it does pop above this candle where we're at right now, then we'll be out. I said 50 was the line in the sand, but if we get back to 50, you might rotate back through. If we could flush this 36.50 level one more time, our stop's going to be just above the wick here, which is now there. We're going to be, just above this wick. Come on. There we go. So now we're secured a good bit of profit on this, and if we can continue to flush down, then we should rotate down to that 810 level. If I get stopped out beforehand, that's cool. I secured pretty good amount of this profit. There we go. Now we got to watch the bottom here, 28. So we probably get stopped there. There we go, fine. All right, up 705 on the day. Give ourselves a round of applause for catching that little bit of a move there. I didn't want to put 2 contracts on because I was just nervous that this was going to possibly rip my face off once again. But, we came in with one guy, risked just above this zone here, caught ourselves a nice little move, and we are now up $705. 705 on the day. Update that P&L board. Kaboom. All right, so back-to-back days, secured some good profits here. Very, very, very happy with what we had going on. It was another great entry, not breaking my rules because I said five minutes to the close of the hour. I do not like to get into trades, so this was just before that at 53. So we got in there on that failed break to the high side. We had reasons, right? I drew up these zones live on screen. We had NVIDIA getting right to a liquidity zone where it sold off in the past. Microsoft also right to this zone, to the tick, to the dollar or cent, you would call it. Double topped it there. Once we got that secondary touch in here, I was more confident that these names here would continue to sell off. And then Apple was just pushing lows and is holding down here. So its weakness is kind of just be there. It's notable. But Microsoft was really the key to this whole trade. So we're watching Microsoft as it approaches this zone. I drew that zone up when we were down in this range here. So if we were going to tag it, and then I added my confluence here with NVIDIA, same deal. If it tags this zone, we noticed price pushed up, but it didn't quite follow through and it rejected that level right away. NVIDIA has been leading us quite a bit. So that's why we were looking at that. Once we got the equity side that was giving us our confidence, we were looking at our delta. Our delta here tried to push, pushed up, never made new highs. Price ripped up here and then failed this level pretty quickly. I said, if this level fails, we're going to take the short down through this candle here. This one candle here that tried to push up. It was on lighter buyers, not as many buyers were pushing in through here. And I said, if it fails through here, then you're going to get your selling to get that ignition point, right? And so we said, all right, we're going to be tight on our trail. We trailed it down as we moved. This was going to be my point of interest here. I said I wanted to take profits on this kind of quickly. So as we approached this zone, we flushed it twice. I got right above this wick here, just in case we decided to hold that. We didn't. We popped from there. Now we're rotating down through. Next target to the downside, if you're still involved, is that 810 level now that we're at 10 o'clock. So this is how I talk through trades, especially at all-time high levels. I'm not trying to do crazy pick the top ideas on anything that we don't know because we have no information on it, right? So I would have loved to have 2 on here. That would have been really ideal, but I was not willing to give that all back for the day. on an all-time high. It's an A setup for me. It's not an A plus. The only reason it's not an A plus is because we're at all-time highs and I don't have any more information. But everything lined up perfectly for me to execute on this trade. And I, reasonably speaking, expected A10 to be tagged if we could crack here. So look at that beautiful move. Hopefully somebody's watching this. If you've came around late or whatever, if you go to YouTube, you could always rewind. If you're on TradeCaster, you can rewind back to why we took that entry there. Beautiful entry. No qualms about it. The only thing I would have loved to do is put size on right there. And if I could put size on right there, you make everything we made times 2, 3. So, but being up 705 on the day while price is pushing at all-time highs, and on days where I'm not trying to pick tops, I'm just trying to understand where these levels are and give myself a broader picture, right? Because since all these, equities are at all-time highs, but the indexes are at all-time highs, but the equities are not, right? So we still have information that we can use within the equities that are heavily weighted in the NASDAQ to give us the information that we need in order to make the decisions that we want to do, right? So hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully I could do a little class here. I'm going to do a little Instagram video for you guys while I'm right here. All right. Yeah, we're sitting at plus 705. We're at 52, a little over 52,000 on the 50Ks. Target is 53,000. One of the 50Ks I did make $2,500 on it, so I do kind of have to make closer to 5,000 on that combine, but I'm not worried about it because I'm looking to try and execute good trades. Yes, I'm trying to show you how to pass combines, but at the same time, I'm also trying to show you how to maximize trailing loss, drawdowns. These are real trades. I'm taking them. I have the same kind of skin in the game that I would with the funded accounts, but trying to show you what was going to happen here. So we're going to leave that there. This is going to be an important zone looking forward. Obviously, 810, beautifully drawn up. I noted it as we were on the way up, so that's why I drew it as a target for the second wave. But, realistically, I had my stop at 50. Never quite got there, but we got to the level where I was very interested. And my plan prior to the trade being executed was trail it tight and maximize my profits as quickly as possible, just with one contract, just to get it done. So we did secure 385 on that. So you can see it right here. Trade copying, 390 times 3. 2 back-to-back days with really good executions. Now that we're in this 10 o'clock hour, I do like to take some of my better trades in this time. So we are at all-time highs. Like I said, this is now the new all-time high at 17,875. This 810 zone is pretty important. We're going to watch it and be mindful of it. Obviously, 836 acted as pure resistance just based on this area here, so we'll watch that as well. Just going to continue to call stuff out as we see it. I'm not sure if I'll take anything else unless I get another A plus A type setup that we got here, right? What's telling me right now is price is probably continuing to be heavy. Delta is flattened out, price popped up. So as you approach that 36.50 level, shorts are more likely than longs. At the moment, that could change at any second. So really, really good back-to-back days. We did a good job limiting losses on Monday, came back today and yesterday and recovered everything, right? If you can limit your losses on your losing days, the winning days will make up for it and your equity curve will stay up and to the right. You have to have the rules, though. Got to have the rules. The rules that I have not been sticking to, and that's the reason why I kind of burnt myself in January. I had 2 tilty days. I had, of the whole month, I had all pretty great trading days, except for 2 days, which really just burnt the accounts. Especially with funded accounts, you have to be pretty tight. You got to understand your rules. You have to know what your downside risk tolerance is. And you got to make educated choices and not go on tilt. The less you can avoid tilt, the more you can avoid tilt, the less tilt you can go on, the better you're going to be. Unless you have, like I said, once these accounts get into profit to a point where that drawdown quite doesn't matter, because, even if you're trailing drawdowns $2,000 for a day on a 100K and your account's up in, or $5,000 in profit, you can take one of those max loss days, but you don't want to do that, right? You want to keep some of those profits. So hopefully we get some good trades out of that from some people today. That was really, really well executed there from the top. Just got a lot of information there. Really helped out. Now we're getting pushing the delta to kind of tickle the bottom. Now we're going to see if this will push up here, fail that 86.50 level, and continue to rotate down to 10s. But you need to be helped out by Microsoft and NVIDIA. These are the two guys that helped us out before. I'm going to just talk through some of this live on the Insta. Let's see what my paycheck is. Getting a little bit of a bounce here. NVIDIA is bouncing. The less executions, the better I ever do. Obviously, that should be everybody's thought process, moving through what they do throughout the day. Jeez, credit card pending. Just gotta check something on the bank account. Auto pay, okay. All right. We're still here till 11 o'clock today. We really called out some good moves based on all these confluences, right? We're going to do our account performance for the day. Just a nice little up and to the right. Couple good executions here. We ended up breaking even on that first trade. I think that's why because I took one contract off and then came back up. Welcome, Jofi. Good to see you. We are actually doing a giveaway this week, so if you can get some more of your buddies here into this room, we're going to do, at 25 viewers, we're going to give away a free month of TradeCaster. So welcome to the room, and also welcome to the... I use both. While on stream right now, I've been doing props. I was funded all the month of January, then went on tilt one day. Whoever was in the stream gonna test, that burnt my account. So I'm back into a couple combines right now. All three of them are in profits, up about 2,000 over the last couple of days, since about Thursday of last week. We're up 700 on today, 600 yesterday. But yeah, I like to use Top Step. Top Step is my favorite currently. I do have an affiliate link in here in the alerts for Take Profit Trader. I liked so far what they're about as far as their withdrawal rules. But when it comes to like overall, let's call it account, from beginning to end, I'd say Top Step is my favorite. I'm wearing a Top Step shirt. I bought it. They didn't give it to me. It's a well-rounded prop firm. They've been around the longest. They pretty much invented the space. If you ask them, they invented the futures funding environment, right? But I've been with them on and off, funded on, funded up. Yeah, I took a couple trades today. I'll go over them real quick since you're new to the stream right now. Let's go to the beginning of the day real quick. So since you're new here, this is your first time in here, my main strategy, I like to fade extremes, usually overnight high to overnight low, liquidity zones, stuff like that. So what I was looking at here was that price was pushing to all-time highs, didn't quite make it there in that pre-market session. We were at this overnight high. This is the overnight high from 2 sessions ago, because realistically the pre-market high was right here. I could see it. I could put my hands on it. I didn't need to draw up a level for it. But this zone was a high level of liquidity from the past. So I look to short through this zone. I did take that trade yesterday on the open and made $600 on that trade. So I thought, hey, let's give it a shot again. So we're fading this extreme on the lack of follow through to push to all-time highs. I took 2 contracts on it, ended up breaking even, took one off, got break even. Same deal here. I played the same level, same type of breakdown on a failed breakout to the high side. We took off about $300 on this trade because I had 2 on, took one off, and then broke even on the second contract again. So we were up about 300 there. Then we saw this. We kind of called this out, but I'm not a breakout trader per se. Kind of looking back on how I talked this through, I could have probably got my entry in on here, but I was looking for a failed breakout to rotate back down again and play this level because that's what I was looking for. But we got this full rally. We broke to all-time highs. Once we get to all-time highs here, I'd like to be hands-off for a long time, let the levels establish themselves. I used Delta here to give me information on new buyers and new sellers. So we saw this new high get created. We started to see price slow down. Delta slowed down. It kind of flattened out, even though we were pushing up to these highs. Started to develop some levels. We saw while we were pushing down, we had NVIDIA was down in this range here, pushing up. I drew up this zone there. You could rewind the stream if you don't trust what I'm saying here, but I drew it up while it was on the way up. And then also Microsoft. Microsoft was really the true key to this whole trade, right? I drew this level up as we were in this range here around the 410 level. I said if we approach this level, price in the NASDAQ makes new highs, but Delta doesn't follow along, and we reject here with Microsoft, then we were going to look to get our rejection. So Microsoft got a second touch on there. We pushed above this zone with no Delta confluence, right? Our highs here, Delta didn't make new highs there. So I said if we fail this candle, I'm going to take the short from here. Be tight with it, be quick with it, because I don't trust all-time high levels. So I sized down a little bit. I only took 1 contract here. And I said I'm just going to trail it tight as I move down. So as it broke through certain zones, I just started to move my trail. And I said as soon as I get below this level and try to hold, which we did right here, I'm going to move my stop just above this little candle there, just because I don't have tons of information to help my trade out. I said also if we do crack here, I drew up that 810 level. That was really interesting on the way up. I drew that up and I said that should be our target to the downside. However, I was going to be tight with it. So got stopped here. Price kind of just bounced just a touch just below that high volume node at 850 and rolled down. So really we took 2 good trades, 2 good winners, 1 break even. And so we took 3 trades, 1 break even, 2 pretty decent winners. If we were able to do this with some more information, I would have liked to have gotten 2 contracts on here, risked just above this zone. I wasn't going to risk the high. I was going to risk just above this zone there. So I would have got 2 on there, would have got 1 off here, and then tried to trail this second one as close to 810 as possible, which would have maximized my gain on this trade. Gave me an extra 900, plus on that trade. But overall, it's okay. I did what I wanted to. I talked about the trade before I entered it and gave everybody the reasoning behind why. So, usually I have 3 combines running right now. I'm trade copying. My leader is 100K and I have 2 50K accounts. I think that the 50K account is best for people to get funded on. You can get funded on it pretty quick if you follow some appropriate risk tolerance rules and don't try to oversize. And I usually try to scale in size-wise only to about, max 3 contracts. I usually get on with 2. If I see a really high probability setup, I'll go with 2 right away. If not, I'll add on my way down. Right here, I got on 1. And I got a second on the add on a breakdown. Just didn't get the follow through and took 1 off. So yeah, I'm doing full minis. If I start to draw down, I'll go to micros. In my personal brokerage account, I'll leverage micros so I can size in and size out. But with the combine, I'm trying to just maximize the leverage that they give you, and just limiting my drawdown. My issue is with the losing those 2 funded accounts. I had 2 of them at the time. I was trade copying. I blew them both. I was up over 1,000 plus or more on that funded account in January, so I was doing pretty well on it, and then I went on tilt and screwed myself. I reestablished my rules for the stream. You guys are here to keep me accountable. I'm here to keep you accountable. So since then, I've been going with, if I take 2 losses in a row, with my full loss size, I'm done for the day. That'll limit my downside. I'm not going to get anywhere near that daily drawdown. And then days like yesterday and today, and I had one pretty big winner the first day. So the drawdown days get made up for days like today. So if you can limit those tilt days, you'll be just fine trading minis in the combine. So that's what I like to do. I appreciate the questions because I'm trying to get some more interaction in here and get some people some more education. Like I said, I try to give everybody the idea of how I execute and how I set up zones and how confluences play, right? And I also explained earlier that realistically, the market doesn't care about a lot of the information that we seem to be getting. So we're just going to continue to pump to highs apparently and see where it wants to go and then just react intraday. I do look at the macro environment pretty intently to see where the Fed wants to go. I try to price in some of those things, and a lot of those moves do play out. But in between those time periods, right now, I kind of mentioned it a few weeks ago. If the Fed does what we expect, which was to talk about that inflation's still too high, the job market's still strong, everything is still too strong to cut rates because people are still spending out this environment, that we would get an initial dump, but then also people would be like, oh, okay, then they're going to cut later. So you're going to get another rally off of that news. So you got the news, you got the initial dump, that's over with. Now you're going to get the continued push to the upside because the markets just want to continue to run. So that's where that insolvency kind of comes in, where it just does what it wants in between the time periods where the news comes, right? So as long as you're in between that news period, then price is just going to do whatever it wants. It's going to start to try and price things in to get better areas for when the next, release is out. And sort of what this is telling me is, we're going to wait till we get closer to March, right, for that rate decision and that press conference. But what this kind of tells me is that obviously the markets are strong. The economy seems to be continuing to boom, even though consumer debt is at all-time highs, defaults are at all-time highs, mortgage rates are at the highs. There's a lot of things that are holding this thing back, and we're still pumping to the upside. We're maybe looking to see some melts later on, right? They might be pushing this up to sell it off later as we get it closer to March. So just be mindful of that. That's how I price things in. That's how I go about thinking about it. Deck always looking to hear that money, baby. We are looking at 7:05 already on the day. The stream, since Jofi, you're new, I usually run 8:30 a.m. to 11 o'clock Central Time. Possibly not going to take another trade yet. Got to wait for another AA plus setup. We're at these all-time highs. We're developing these new levels. We're kind of just wait and see what information we can gather at these levels that are going to be important for us moving forward in the future, since now we're here. So now we need to be able to gather the information, develop a good strategy for it, and then move on. So I'm going to get rid of some unnecessary drawings. If you're concerned about any sort of indicators that I got on the chart, just kind of giving you guys who are new here a little bit of information. I use volume profile. All it does is tell you where price has been for the longest throughout the day, right? You get a value area. Price tends to like to stay in those value areas, and it likes to attract to some of these higher volume nodes because that's where trades have been executed the most. I have an opening range, which is the first minute of trading range that just gets placed on the chart. I like that because it kind of just tells me if we're in green territory for the day, red territory for the day, and where we opened and a lot of the information that kind of happened within that first minute of the day. So I like that there. Got to have VWAP. VWAP is the almighty target that I usually use it for. So that's a good area of importance. This other line here is part of that VWAP. I don't normally have it on, but in this Quant Tower platform, it just kind of populates and I don't know how to get rid of it, so I just leave it there. And then everything else is just zones. Obviously, I have my cumulative delta that I make a lot of my decisions around, right? It just tells me The cumulative delta just tells me new buyers, new sellers that are coming in shorter term, and it gives me some confluence on if a sell is going to be following through. Like right now, it seems like it could follow through because you're getting a decent delta push, and price is trying to make new lows. So while delta tries to make new lows, price tries to make new lows, it acts in confluence. As you start to see that these diverge, then you start to see price kind of want to turn around and move the other way, and that's where I like to fade moves, right? So that's where I played right there. As I mentioned before, we could look to see this now fade down again to 610. Could have looked to got another entry there on a breakdown, but I'm not looking to take that. That's not an A+ setup for me. That's just an idea that I present out there, right? So hope that helps, kind of understand where I'm at with what I'm doing. Watch that 810 level again. Probably going to be done for the day unless I could see something that really kind of piques my interest around before 10:45 as we approach 11. If I see something that's really setting up nice around 11 o'clock, I'll stay on. But for the most part, we are pretty happy with our gains on the day. We got our Day Trading Coffee new tumbler that just came in. Gotta love that. We are going to be doing a giveaway of a free month of TradeCaster if we can get 25 viewers on the stream tomorrow. We've already bumped out today closer to 5, 6. I've had 10 plus on at a time here and there. I want to get this up to 25. So if you're in YouTube and you're in here later, the link is in the chat as well as the information panel of the YouTube screen, whatever that's called. I don't pretend to be an expert in YouTube, but my goal with this year is I'm trying to stream every single day that I have the ability to stream. I've been on ever since the first week of January all through now. I'm looking to just continue every single day. That's my goal for the year, is to just continue. We want to grow this account organically, develop a community, do a bunch of giveaways, and provide some trading value, right? That's what you're here for. You're here to trade. You're here to learn. You're here to have people that kind of look at similar things the way you do. But we all don't have to take the same trades. I'm here to try and provide levels to give people some ability to make decisions around zones that they, maybe they're a perma bull, or maybe they're a perma bear, or, maybe they don't like the fade extremes. They want to play breakouts. Just take the opposite of what I'm taking, and you have that opportunity. But right now we're happy with our day so far. Took really good executions. Really didn't take any heat on any of the trades. Everything that we took pretty much went green right away, and that's what I'm looking to do, right? I want my moves to happen pretty much instantly. That's why I stop in. I take stop orders to push in. So another green day, back-to-back green days. We're green for the week, even though we took a one losing day. We're still green on the week, so that's good. We're looking to continue that momentum, and we'll get all of these funded either by the end of this week or next week. And then once we're funded, we're going to continue to be aggressive with our entries, continue to keep this same strategy, same risk tolerance stuff, and we'll go and do that there. If I take other trades, like an overnight session or something like that, I do bring it up. Like yesterday, I took one 2 nights ago. I mentioned it to everybody in the chat. Just to keep that full transparency out there of maybe why I have a higher balance or something, and my P&L for the day is only 600 or whatever, just because I work on some things on the slower market, to work on some size stuff, and I just want to see how it plays just in case I'm out there trading at that time of day. But let's watch this, see if it kind of breaks down from this 810. I really want to see how much information I can get about a level, especially after I haven't traded. After I've already traded, I've pretty much finished my executions because the A+ idea is not there anymore. We may be able to get that continuation push to the downside. Microsoft failed that level once again, so you get a breakdown of that 410.70.80. The 410.80 should continue to crack this 810 now too. Nvidia also failed that high. That zone was drawn up, was beautiful. If I was still trading equities, then I would be happy to have taken those shorts up at that level. Secured some money on those, $2 in profit on a couple of those. So a couple $1,000s on those trades with appropriate size. Okay. It's us for the day. We get
failed this level once again. Find out live. Tradecaster.com.
okay. We did get a little bit of a peak below here, below that 410.80. What's the bottom there? Yeah, we peaked down below here, right below 410.80 in that Microsoft, kind of getting a little bit of a bounce. But if you continue to get that flush through, you can see this NASDAQ possibly break down through here as well. NVIDIA. So every day, this is all I do every single day. I draw up my zones. I look to see where price wants to kind of be drawn to, if it wants to fade a high, if it wants to fade a low, are we in a liquidity zone? And then I just try to play the intraday move based off of what it's actually doing. My levels, my zones, some of the price action on certain days are based off of that macroeconomic news, but I like to use some of these equities. Like I said, the NASDAQ is only weighted with the top 100 stocks, but the top 7 of them really drive 55% of the entire thing. So NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, those are the names that you got to look at, because wherever they're going, that's where the market's going, right? Apple just continuing to get beat down. If I was a long-term investor, I may be looking to try and grab Apple. I should have been grabbing Apple down here once we got into that liquidity zone at 80. I've been seeing nothing but people buying this new VR headset and all that stuff. Apple just continues to do okay on its earnings. Like, it beat not like like it still had a beat. It had earnings beats. So once you push down to that 180, could have got a good deal on it. Continue to rotate, but now it's kind of just rotating back down from these zones here. So long term, Apple bull, but short term, it is just continuing to kind of get beat up. Probably because Kramer talked about buying it. And NVIDIA. So that 810 level has now confirmed to me. This zone is now confirmed as important. Multiple touches on it, multiple just interactions where we're getting good bounces. If you get a flush below it, look for it to hold as resistance if you're going to look to take a short down. And then if you're playing bounce plays, clearly bounce. And if you're going to expect it to bounce again, that's up to you. But, we're at these highs. You've developed another wedge. If you get a break above 36.50, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, NVIDIA maybe looking to bounce, and Microsoft looking to get back into that zone there. So could you get one more rip up? You could. It's potentially all-time high levels, man. Anything can happen at all-time high levels. 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. I will be here. If I am near a computer where I can stream, I will be streaming. If I'm trading in this time period, I will be streaming my trades every single day. That's my goal for the year 2024. I had a couple goals, obviously, is to always improve my trading, but really just trying to continue to consistently come out here every single day, provide value, give content for people to take in, give me some feedback. So the more we can grow this organically, the better. The more people who are actually interested in what we're doing here is better. I don't want to just get random, viewers that don't really care about what we're doing, because it doesn't help them at all. So we want to do a giveaway this week. If it doesn't happen this week, it'll happen next week. Whenever it happens, we get 25 viewers on this stream. I'm giving away a free month of Tradecaster. That free month can pay for its lifetime fee if you just take a couple of the trades that we call out in here. If you go over to Dex Room or you go to any of the other guys, you can learn about the stocks, options, futures with me, futures with some of the other guys, and just go from there. It's really it's a win-win. You sign up for your 7-day free trial. A lot of you are already in here. A lot of you already have paid membership, which is fantastic. And we're going to give that one lucky viewer, once we hit 25, that free month of Tradecaster.com. So be here. The more days you're here, the better of a chance you're gonna be here the time that 25 viewer hits off and we go. So Michigan's calling. I don't know anybody in Michigan. We're gonna get this thing to rotate through, possibly pop to highs through the breakout of this. If it fails the breakout, then that's where I like to play. Failed breakouts, rotate down. So those are the two scenarios. If it breaks and holds, you get the continuation. Breaks and fails, back down below here. You want to see what happens at 810 if it's going to flush. But for me, I'm not really looking at any of these things to execute on. I'm just kind of calling them out as I see them. You can see it here. Microsoft bull flagging, but at this zone here, if we can get another pop into there, then you probably get this to pop out. If not, if you fail, rotate down one more time. 810 could fail, and then you get your full rotation. I mean, the breakout point of that all-time high is only at 793, so you're really looking at not a huge initial target. You know, your risk to reward has to be a little bit bigger for me to want this to be like I don't know if it's going to accept below there too. If it does, then you can possibly look to rotate, but you know, we made all-time highs. Do I expect it to rotate all the way back down? I don't know. Potentially it could, but playing a breakdown of 810 right now only gives me down to that initial breakout target of 793.50 before I'm going to wait to see if it's going to continue to push to, you know, even VWAP. You know, there is you can get a decent gain there if you do only risk above that that zone there. If you risk right above that zone, you're risking $150, $200 to make potentially first target 300. So you know, 2 to 1 there, but not something that I'm looking to take. Nothing that's giving me the you got to take this. You're up $700. You want to give some of it back? That's really what it's telling me. You want to give some of this back? We would like to have some back. And I say no. No. $810 once again, looking to hold. Kind of how we got here, right? We got to it. We didn't quite get all the way down to it, and then we started to rotate through. Right now, we got to it. We didn't quite get to it. We're starting to rotate. Could this be your indication now that that's that high or low? If you break above here, you have continuation on that breakout, just based purely on sort of how this price action worked here. But if you do get that tick off on the 10, you probably break all the way down. But you got to watch for the other side of this. That's just going to give you the confluence for when you do get to up here. I'm not saying take the entry, but if you're a bounce play kind of person where you're looking for just immediate action off the bounce, you know, 810 has been pretty important, but it looks like we're pushing down heavier. Delta's pushing. Let's see, Microsoft also rotating down. So there's that flush of 810. Did not bounce. You are getting that flush. And I said that initial target's probably only 93.50. Top end of this zone here. But if you do get that now acceptance back into there, that's where you're going to get it. But really, I don't have that much confidence in this to totally break down all the way for me to want to take that for myself. But it is something that I could say, you know, down to 93s, you're going to get to the initial breakout point. We talked about that up here. That's probably where your possible target could be. Obviously, the initial target was that 810, but you get the bounce. Now you break through it. You didn't get a really convicted push through that 810. So if you are somebody like me where you're playing failed breakouts, this is a failed breakdown. If you break above this little wedge, that could be your indication that, okay, we grab some liquidity down here. The breakout above this wedge, above this high volume node here, could get us to continue up to push into this zone here. But for me, like I said, nothing where we're at right now is telling me that I need to get involved in any sort of trade. I don't have my A+ type setup. I'm just kind of giving what other people may be looking at, what their thought processes could be at these levels. And like I said, a flush of here, that's an actual true flush. The initial breakout of that all-time high level is that potential first target. Then you have, if this ignition candle gets canceled out, VWAP possibly. But you're in a momentum state of all-time high breakout points. So I tend to get fearful of buying or selling in these areas. We talked about why we got into this one. Now we're going to just kind of be mindful of where we're at right now. Sorry about my voice. Top flush to the bottom. Another failed breakdown of 810. Well, we're still holding below 810, so it's not a failed breakdown yet. But if you pop back above that little yellow zone there, could look to see it potentially be that failed breakdown and just a liquidity grab to rotate through. But it still feels a little heavy. You're getting a little bit of a slowdown in that. Microsoft is giving you that little bull flag action, which is propping us up. Nvidia bouncing from those lows, not quite cracking through the bottom. I'm sure Apple's still beat down. Yes, it is. It's still pushing lows. Apple could be continuing to drive us down, holding us here, but really Microsoft is the most important at these levels. A crack of that trend line there, you're going to be mindful of that 827.50 volume node. Watch it to either be whippy above there, or if it holds above that, that's confirmation that you may rotate back to highs, or at least that yellow zone there. Tradecaster, if you're over on YouTube, click the link for Tradecaster. If we get 25 people over there, you get a free month. Start your 7-day free trial if you haven't done it already. If not, you've done your 7-day free trial, it expired, but my stream over there is still free, so you can still access that. You're just not going to get that full access to everybody who's the paid streamers and whatnot in some of their education. But realistically, you get a lot of value out of Tradecaster. Everything all in one place, traders. The whole thing is made by traders, for traders. It's a very, very good platform where you can get a lot of value out of it. And that if you do get that free month, you'll be able to maximize your trade potential, get some call outs, make some profits, and then be able to pay for that lifetime membership and never have to worry about it again. And hopefully we can provide you all the value you could ever need, so you don't ever have to go back to any other streaming platform. That free month, though, we got to get up to 25 viewers, whichever day we do it. I wanted to do it Thursday. If we can get these people up here tomorrow, if you can tell your friends, family, any trading buddies, anybody that you know in Tradecaster, maybe in some other rooms that are looking to get a free month out of it, hit me up, get into this room, start to conversate, build up the little hype a bit, because I'm giving that away as soon as we hit 25. The minute we hit the 25 viewers, unless I'm in a heated trade, after that, we'll develop all the information. We'll do a wheel spin or something and get the fairness factor up there. So 25 viewers, that's what I need for this first giveaway. And as we progress, as we continue to hold those numbers and build up and build up and build up, I'm going to do giveaways pretty much weekly. That's what my aim is to do. Like I said, I did start this coffee company here. It is Day Trading Coffee Company. It's for traders, by traders. I want to try and start giving some coffee away, giving some merch away as well. But if you go over there, you buy some coffee, 10% of all profits is going to go to funding underfunded traders. We're going to buy some combines to start. We'll either do Top Step or Take Profit Trader. If you're in equities, we'll figure out a way to get you involved over there. But if you're in my stream, or if you're going over there and that's the reason why you're over there, then you're probably in futures markets. So we'll try and give away some of those. And as we start to build that funding fund where it's a sustainable amount, more sales, more profits, bigger funding fund. I want to start to work and partner with brokers and get people some cash accounts and really try and do some of that good stuff. Just I want to vet some of the applicants and see if that's something that you're ready to be jumping into. I'm not just going to give people cash and expect them to blow it the next day. I want to set them up with a good foundation to allow them to grow that account. So there'll be a little bit of an application process to get involved in that funding fund, but realistically, every purchase made over at Day Trading Coffee Company, a percentage of that is going to go over to funding underfunded traders, getting people into combines, getting people money that they can trade so they can change their lives, right? That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it so people could do what they want with their life. If you go over there and buy now and you're in my stream, you're obviously watching, you could use my username at Policing Pips without the at. So Policing Pips would get you 15% off your order from daytradingcoffeecompany.com. I will put the link in the chat over here. And then, like I said, use my username. And you got some resources in there. We write articles. We're trying to develop an education on coffee and on on trading. So there's some good information in there on just basics right now, and we're going to start to develop further and further. We're not going to charge for any of the education. It's all about the coffee and the swag and the merchandise. So that's what you're going to spend your money on. Everything else is free over there. We do have some partnerships. You'll find it on the partnerships page. You can go through Tape Profit Trader. They give us 40% off on their combines. If you click through the Top Step Trader program, I think you get a percentage off as well. But all the links are in the partnership portion of the coffee company website. So now you're seeing that break. If you get above that for that volume node there at 25.50, this could be that continuation, right? Failed breakdown of 810. Microsoft starting to press up. I'm guessing Nvidia also trying to press up a bit. So there you go, Nvidia popping. Watch this price at 25.50. If you're a breakout trader, this is not a bad idea right here. Just purely based on this failed breakdown of that 810 zone. Grab another bounce of it, and then you're gonna be mindful of obviously where we're talking about right here. That 25.50 could be that breakout point. 36.50 is your next target, and then once you kind of clear that, there's still that all-time highs that we're at that we can continue to kind of blast right through. Being mindful of Microsoft and Nvidia, and Apple is at the bottom of its little beat down here, possibly looking to get a little dead cat bounce or something on it. But Microsoft's been really my guiding force on the day. It's been leading us. S&P's on the 30-minute trying to catch a little bit of a bounce as well. You can see that here. S&P's trying to catch a little bit of a bounce. And then NASDAQ 30-minute, you can see some wicky candles on the bottom end. So like I said, if this is a true breakout, you're going to see it right here. First line in the sand, 836.50. Any acceptance above there probably could get a good rotation to highs, two all-time highs. Just really be mindful. If you're in the YouTube, hit the like button. It helps me a little bit. There's not a ton that I could do over there on YouTube, but if you can go over on YouTube, start to like, maybe more people get over there, then we can get more people on TradeCaster. We can do more giveaways within there. So kind of funneling it all in, right? Get yourself to get more people over here. So the more people we can get in here, the more people we can get into TradeCaster, and then the more people we can start to give away stuff to, right? We could use we could leverage our giveaways a bit more, try to provide more value for everybody. Like I said, if we can continue to hold this 25.50 level, your next point that you're interested in is at 36.50. And then if you get a good break here, you should probably get some more of a volume pop, because there's probably a lot of stops above there to run us to value area high and beyond. Since we are in this all-time high environment, it always tries to keep pushing up and pushing up and pushing up. So just be mindful of that. I'm not taking any more trades for the day. I'm done. But if you are a breakout trader, like I said, this could give you some confluence in that you are pushing up in delta. You failed the breakdown of 810. You're getting a bounce here. You're breaking this wedge. We did get a good wedge break this morning that kind of led us on to this. So just watch these levels. That's kind of like if you were a breakout trader. I'm not. I'm looking to fade false breakouts. So my trade idea, if this were me looking to execute, I would look to fail this 25.50, rotate back down, and then probably try to short, even cheat on it before the 810 level, probably cheat on it as it reaccepts down below this ignition candle here, because that would stop some people out, start to ignite the sell. But at the levels we're at right now, I don't believe that that's going to be the case. I think we probably do continue to push up. 836.50 is going to really kind of be that point where you get a little bit more volume, push in and break out a bit. Holding on to that 25.50 volume node, right? You can see there was a lot of executions here. Price wants to kind of linger around there. Let's be mindful of Microsoft. If you're mindful here, Microsoft pops a bit, then that's when you're going to continue to get this pop. We talked about why I took my short where I did, why I got out, because of all this. NVIDIA, look at that, press to the upside. Don't sleep on NVIDIA ripping off your face. If NVIDIA continues that push, it'll probably carry Microsoft up in through this zone here. And then you make your decision from there. Can't quite get through there and it starts to falter. Then that's when you get that false breakout rollover. But really, we're holding that 25.50. If you can get to that 36.50 and break above it, then that I'm going to expect to be a stronger candle, a little bit more volume, some stops will go off, and then potentially roll you to that value area high, which is 49. And then, like I said, since we're at all-time highs, I don't have any more information, so potentially could just continue on to rally to further all-time highs. I'm out of coffee. It's a good thing I own a coffee company because I can get myself some more. But I'm going to pause. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off on the coffee for now. I'm going to just talk this through as you guys are playing your breakouts or whatever you're doing here. It's not a ton of, like I said, not a ton of information. No boxes yet. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Summer camp registration. All right. So you're failing that breakdown. Like I said, if that was me, if this is what I'm playing, a failed breakout to me usually leads to a fast rotation back down through. So that's what I would be looking to play. That's why I don't play breakouts, because breakouts tend to fail on me and roll me over, stop me out, probably right where I was going to get in, and then kind of continue on. So yeah, I'm not a big breakout person. Look at Microsoft. Like I said, if it starts to fail this and starts to roll over, then that's when you're going to get that continued fail. That level that we're at was very important, but I wanted to see it get all the way into that level to get another short involved. I don't want to short from these lows. It's not really my setup. Being up, I don't want to give anything back, right? I was mentioning to the room before, the only real room I had here for this, ideal potential was that initial breakout point, right? So the fake out down here wouldn't get me involved, because I said it was the market trying to tell me, hey, give some back. So I don't want to give anything back. I'm keeping my $700. I'm walking away, but I'm staying on the stream till 11 because that's what I do. I stream 8:30 to 11 every day. I was supposed to have a meeting, but I didn't end up getting over there. Oh, I like that. That's sweet. I didn't know that I could do that. If you hover over some of these names that Deck says on the chat, then you can see the chart populate right as you hover over it. Really sweet. That's awesome. All right, so there you go. The break above 836.50 is going to give you that push to the high side here. I think that's your ignition, right? I said my entry on a failed breakout was going to be below this candle. You never got there. So if your stop was there, you never got stopped out. You're still involved in the breakout long. If you do break 836.50, you expect it to break with some force. Continue to push to the high side. Microsoft is pushing up right to that zone. So just be careful if it does enter that zone and kind of reject. But I do see if it does break through this 836.50 level to rotate up to the 850, which is pretty much the value area high, and then you're going to watch, like I said, because we're at all-time highs. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just, we have blue skies ahead. So you could continue breaking above these highs. I did mention this wedge pattern has been playing out over the last few days, especially if you're patient enough to wait for a false break in the opposite direction. Then I called out, if you rewind a bit, that this failed breakdown gives you the confidence to say, okay, we're probably, this crack of this trend line here will be your move to actually take the breakout. So, we got the false breakdown. You grab some more liquidity at the zone that we've been talking about was pretty important. That 810 level broke that trend line to the downside, cracked up, held above this 825.50 volume node. You kind of peaked below it. If it was going to fail, it was going to fail below this candle. I would have looked to short if I was looking to get an entry below here, which means there's stops there probably. Never quite got stopped out. You should still be in, or if you take profit at that 836.50 level, obviously, like I said, was a very important level. If you do break above here with some volume, you should expect a rotation to the high side. 850 is that first number, that value area high, and then beyond. But if you falter at 36, then you may get stopped out. But watch Microsoft, watch NVIDIA. If these names continue to push up, well, NVIDIA's catching a little bit of selling pressure there, but Softy's still giving a push, and Apple, I'm sure, is just basing out at the bottom. Microsoft's your guy. Whatever it does, you're going to have to kind of follow through with it. We got 7 minutes left in the stream here. I'm going to watch until 11 o'clock. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, get your friends in here. Get anybody that you know from Tradecaster that wants that free month. I'm doing a giveaway as soon as this stream gets to 25 viewers. Give me some likes, some stars, whatever it is. Try and get this the value of this lobby to get improved. The more people we get in here, the more conversations we had, the more value I can provide. I've studied the markets for a while now. I've been trading since 2017, always been interested. I've got my SIE, my Series 57. I've traded prop firms. I've traded my own money. Right now, we're currently trading Top Step futures accounts, but just to leverage to maximize the funding potential. Really, we're in here to try and provide some macroeconomic environment data and understanding certain things. Maybe you're a little less further along in your journey or a little further along. We can talk about these things. We can get some real value to kind of avoid you from just clicking buttons and trying to get in and out of trade. Avoid the tilt. Avoid the FOMO. Let something like this set up for you so you can get a move like I talked about. You fail that breakdown, that next good crack of that trend line of a wedge pattern. This was a liquidity grab. We're looking to push up using the confluences of the equities that are heavily weighted in that market. Do all these things. If we can get these people into the lobby, the more people we get in here, the more giveaways we could do, and the more value I can provide. So, like I said, last 2 days, yesterday we were up 600, today we're up 700, maybe tomorrow we go up 800, 900, 1,000. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Last week we went up 2,500 on a trade. So here's that first, like I said, you break 836.50, then 850 is your target, your first target, and then if you accelerate through here, all-time highs aren't out of the realm of possibility here, especially with Microsoft giving you that push into that liquidity zone, and NVIDIA as well, bouncing, pushing up to that high level. 850 though, like I said, be mindful of that. That's the value area high. So, I mean, I called out that breakout from down here. If you only waited till there and if you risked from, let's say we called it the 825 level down to below this candle here to, you're risking one contract, maybe $200. You're currently sitting at 525 per contract. So a little over 2 to 1, but you do have that potential for this thing to kind of continue to rally. When you're at these all-time high levels, every time bids start to catch in, you start to get some of these grinding rallies or some of these explosive moves to the upside. So we're in that all-time high environment. So buying just going to start to pop off. So, any failed sales, you could definitely bid up on a day like today. So target 1 was hit, target 2 was hit. Now we're going to see if we can rotate on, and everything really from here. Let's say you entered with multiple contracts. You could have took your first one off there, trailed to break even, and now be trailing as you approach your zones, and then you can maximize your profit there. So really good call out there for that one. So we've had some excellent call outs. I don't execute on all of these because that's not where my strategy calls me to do it, but I do like to talk through some other people's strategies and some opportunities on, say, why I would have taken the short. So that could lead you into why you'd want to take the long. Because if I'm staying out of a short, then that means that I believe that there's room to the upside, that I can't limit my short potential, right? So, that's what happened here. I didn't have a risk to reward here that I believed in for the breakdown, and I think that's what kind of held this up. I think everybody who was getting down here thought maybe if we don't break down, we're going to fail and rotate the highs. And so that's what we talked about. Fail breakdown, rotate, break the wedge, break the volume node. Once you break the volume node with some power, everything from there is gravy. Price is going to kind of continue on your way. I've executed a couple, one break even, one plus 300, another plus 385, 400. So we're up 7. So a couple really good, a short here based off of Microsoft and NVIDIA running right into some zones that I had drawn up as we were moving to the highs. If these start to falter again, if you start to get failures at this level, then you should be tighter on your stops. Secure some of your profits, right? Because this was a sell point for Microsoft. A lot of these equities like to bounce off of these levels pretty consistently, and it takes some effort to push through some key zones, right? So it may approach getting into here and then try to sell off again. So if you start to fail that up 411 as you accept into here, then maybe look to be getting out of your longs, right? And also, like I said, I use Delta to kind of help myself with either slowing or not. Like I said, if you find some value in this, hit the like button. If you're in YouTube and you've never been over to TradeCaster, click that TradeCaster link in the bio. They will give you a 7-day free trial. You come in here, you can get all the full suite of everything. If I can get the viewership up to 25 viewers tomorrow or Friday or next week or in the next 5 minutes, I'll give away a free month of TradeCaster. So get everybody over here that that is interested in trading futures or just understanding markets and stuff. That's what I'll be doing. My goal here is to stream every single day that I'm possibly able to get near my computer. So we've been pretty steady on that so far this year. I haven't really missed a single day. The only days I miss are days that I haven't traded where I wasn't near a computer. We're providing some value out here for not just what I'm trading, but for, if you're in here and you want to trade Microsoft, I provided this level here for a good short opportunity or maybe a breakout long from that wedge pattern that was occurring there. I'm looking to fade extremes on the futures. So right now we're kind of diddling in the middle. So I don't really like to play some of these things because that just gets me in trouble. I start to hammer buttons. I really am looking for A+ setups like I got here. The only reason I didn't take 2 contracts on this was because I was just nervous of all-time high just ripping my face off. So I got everything I wanted out of this setup. So I just sized down just a touch just to kind of make sure I was able to manage the position a little bit better than I would have had I had a little bit more size on and been a little bit more tight with my stops and whatnot. So we maximized what we could do out of that. Could have got a little bit more on it if we were able to get this flush to happen quicker. Like I said before, I was going to be fast on the trail. Like I said, this second target, that 850 level is the value area high, so that's why we did slow down there once we did break to here. So I said if you get to that 50 level, be cautious of a rollover, especially if Microsoft enters and fails, right? Which it did. It entered into this zone, started to roll over. Could hold 3650 to continue this rotation to the high side, but be mindful if it does fail, you could get that rotation to the bottom. I don't like all-time high trading. It's just not my bag. We did good today. We were very patient, waited for certain entries to happen. I don't normally just draw all these trend lines and stuff, but when we're at a level where there's no other levels to the left, this is it. This is every bit of price information I possibly could have at these levels. So I need to kind of develop my my levels. Like I drew this zone here. On the way up, I saw it kind of slow down here. I saw volume start to really build up at 810. We got a breakout from it. So as we started to push down, I drew this zone up as a target for the short from the high side. I mean, it came to a tick. Same thing, 2-3 times. Failed to break down, and now we rotated off of it. So this is going to be a very important level for me looking forward for the rest of, maybe the week or, as we're in these zones. So just keep that in mind. That's why I have that there. Then we're just kind of looking to see if this will hold for anybody who's in a long. Really, I think you could trail this until it breaks this trend line and cracks to the bottom. So if you're trailing with this trend line as you get some swing low, swing high, just kind of maximize your gains on this. If you guys have no other questions, comments, concerns, anything about the giveaway that I'm going to do once we get to 25 views on the stream on Tradecaster, just let me know. Hit me up. You can follow me on Instagram at Policing Pips, YouTube, same deal at Policing Pips, here on Tradecaster as well, obviously Policing Pips. So we're gonna do it. 25 viewers, giving away a free month of Tradecaster. Want to do it tomorrow? If I can get 25 on tomorrow, fantastic. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, the day it happens, we're giving away that free month of Tradecaster. So that's gonna be great. As we continue to grow, I'm going to continue to do giveaways. I do run the Day Trading Coffee Company, so we're going to do a lot of giveaways with that. All purchases over there. If you use my username, Policing Pips, you get 15% off, but also 10% of all profits are going to a funding fund. So I'm going to use money from the business to fund underfunded traders, starting with buying combines, teaching you how to pass those combines in here like we're doing right now, and then hopefully being able to grow you as a trader. And then as we grow the company and as we grow profits, then we're going to start to grow the ability to partner with brokerages and be able to give away some cash accounts and stuff like that to be able to get people to trade what they want after getting a little bit of a slight background check on them, and not just going to be giving money away to everybody, grandmas and stuff like that. Anybody who's a trader and a part of the community. Obviously, anybody can buy the coffee. Coffee is fantastic. It's the lifeblood of everything I do. So, but all the purchases, if you're going to want to be involved in that giveaway, we're going to lay out the rules within these rooms as well. So, it'll be on the website. It'll be on here once we start to give away those accounts. But tomorrow, I want to get this stream as close to 25 people as we can. If we can get up to 25, we're giving away that free month of Tradecaster. So spread the word. If you leave the room after I get off here, go into other rooms. I'm not poaching from them. I don't really. I would love for everybody to just get views all day. I'm just trying to build my viewer base and trying to give away a free month of Tradecaster. So if you come in for the 25, you get your free month, and you go and watch other people within Tradecaster. I'll be really happy. You're still involved in the community, and then we'll be able to start to grow each other's viewer bases and try and provide value each way. So I want to provide value. I want to let everybody else in Tradecaster get some people to view them as well. So we're going to do some partnership streams and all that. So this is the profit curve for the day. Took a couple of pretty good trades, up 700, the profit factor of 6.88. So pretty good. Max drawdown we had was negative 120, but I don't think it was, because everything we did was green trade. I think that has to do with leveraging in and out of our trades. So if you don't have any questions, then I'm going to be getting off here in about, I'll call it 5 minutes. And we're going to work on some other stuff throughout the day. I try not to be on past 11 executing trades, because then that's when I start to get clicky and entering in things that I don't want to enter in. If I get a A+ setup, if I'm come around 1 or 2 o'clock, maybe I'll hop on. If I see something really setting up that I like, that I think, hey, let's do this. But usually if I'm up or down pretty good on a day, I don't want to come back to the charts very much. Try to just keep what I got and then limit my downside so I can maximize my returns. Right now we're sitting positive on the week, so that's always good. Up about 2,000 in each account, a little over $2,000 in each account, right around it. So profit targets are getting approached. We could possibly pass these combines by the end of the week. If not, probably by the end of next week. If you are on YouTube, hit the like button. Also, head over to TradeCaster and try your 7-day free trial, because if you're in here, when we have 25 viewers, you'll get a free month, potentially. We're doing a giveaway of 1 free month. We'll make it a fun little wheel spin or something, and we'll provide some more value to everybody here and get you a free month of TradeCaster if we can get the stream up to 25 viewers. Phenomena. Microsoft rejecting that level once again. Take that information with what you may. I like to use the information as I see it. I provide it. I like to have confluence in my moves. So the reason I got into my short earlier was because Microsoft got to these levels, and we got some divergences in delta and price on the Nasdaq. So took my short, took my profits, got out. Microsoft continued to roll over. Now we're right back at that spot where I took my short before. Will Microsoft break out or hold? Nvidia, the same deal, right at that level of where it needs to make a decision. Who comes first, the futures or the equities? I mean, this isn't spot, right? So the spot obviously follows directly, but the futures of the NQ here, where does it anticipate Microsoft and Nvidia to be going? Because Apple obviously is just beaten down on the bottom end. And then Amazon and Google have just been chop city. So the two names you really need to watch on the day, because they're acting kind of similar to how the markets are acting, is Microsoft and Nvidia. So if you can get them to break up, then you're still good. Absolutely. Everything that Deck said, if you're in here and you're reading over what Deck Mark posts, that comes from all of, he goes to all the rooms. I think that we're overvalued in everything. I think a lot of things are waiting to come tumbling down, especially, like he said, those AI sector, tech sector type stocks. With all this credit card default and, like these debts are at all-time highs and the interest rates are at all-time highs. Like we're in a point where that AI bubble may be looking to, not that it's a bubble, it's a great technology, it's useful, it does help a lot, but is the hype really worth it? Like is Nvidia really involved? Like they're a chip company, right? They're involved to an extent. They're making chips and all that, and they have crazy demand. Microsoft also is still Microsoft, but they're involved in OpenAI and all those things. So are they being driven by this hype? I think everything that gets hyped comes back down at some point, right? Just like he said, Tesla comes down, everything comes down. Just watch it, be mindful of it, and when it does come, put yourself in the right side of the trade. Understand why it's there, why it might move, at what point will it start to fade. I'm not looking to, I'm not a long-term investor, I'm a trader, so day to day, I'm looking to start to see where these shorts are going to come in. Right now, we're at all-time highs. We're burning through all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs. So as these opportunities come, you kind of just have to wait and see and maybe just find out where price is going to stall out, falter, maybe give you that capitulatory top, that breakout capitulation, and then look to get, when people are so exuberant, when your neighbor is coming over to you and saying, oh man, the market's kind of racking and I'm going to buy, that's when let's start to sell. I'm getting out of this, right? You want to get ahead of these people. And your best indicator on a long-term play of something like that is when your neighbor comes to you and knows nothing about anything and says, hey, I'm going to buy. That's when your time is to sell. You need to be that. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up real quick before I go. Greed, fear index. The Fear and Greed Investor Sentiment Index. This is your friend here. We are currently in extreme greed. You know what that means? Warren Buffett's going to be short. People like that are going to be starting to get short. You start pushing into this extreme greed, and when your neighbor starts coming over your house, and when people you know that don't know anything about the stock market or nothing about trading start to say, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, I want to be, you see AI, you see markets are all-time highs. Oh, baby. Wait for this thing to get ticked up a little bit more, and you're going to start to see this arrow start to turn over. But you need to be involved in that first. You need to be able to get involved in that extreme greed and profit off of your friends who are saying that they're buying at highs. Start to take those and rotate them to the downside, because at some point, everybody can't be buying. There's going to be nobody to sell to, and then they're going to start to get scared. And when you see extreme greed, like I said, and if people are starting to come into your house and say, hey, I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy, and you start to sell, right? You're going to start to sell, and you're going to sell first. And then when you get in here at these all-time highs, at some point, if you're a longer term, or, maybe we get one more, big run up, and people are start to talk about it, and you start to short it, and you're shorting it, and you're shorting it, and then your friend's like, oh God, I bought at 17,880, and now it's at 17,000, and I'm melting my 401k, and then they start to sell, right? Then they're going to start to sell, and they're going to start to sell, and that's going to accelerate that downside pressure, because extreme greed can turn into extreme fear pretty quickly, especially if you start to get a really hard melt to the downside, right? So these are things that you got to be mindful of as a trader. You don't have, on a day-to-day basis, is this important? Not really, right? But understanding the grand scheme of the whole outlook of the market can let you get in or out of certain ideas before, right? Just watch and learn and execute on things that you believe are going to happen with some conviction. Have some good risk management rules, and you'll be fine. I think anybody can do this. You just have to understand what you're doing and, continue to just grind away at it. Like I said, if we have no more questions, I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate everybody hopping on. If you come on tomorrow, bring a friend. Have somebody sign up for a 7-day free trial. If we can get this specific stream up to 25 viewers on Tradecaster, we're going to give away 1 free month of Tradecaster, providing you the value you get for your 7-day free trial, all access to everything, free of charge for 1 month. You make one good trade in there. When you got your free month, you can pay for a lifetime membership or your next month. Just one good trade could get you to that next level. And being in here, we call out good opportunities. We call out, understanding how to trade using other tools and data and information, and we talk about it. And then you have access to Deckmar. You have access to all these other guys. Yeah, buddy. AK-47, stocks, options, futures. Anything you want, you can get in Tradecaster. If you want that free month, you got to be over here. Do your 7-day free trial. If you're already a paid member, fantastic. Bring over your friends. We're going to do that giveaway once this stream hits 25 views. All right. We finished the day up $705 on 2 good trades and 1 break-even trade, which was a good trade, just kind of trailed out on it. So if you like the value, give me a thumbs up. If you like the stream, come over to Tradecaster. We provide all that value for you. Don't be afraid to head over to daytradingcoffeecompany.com, daytradingcoffeeco.com. Use code POLICINGPIPS. The link is in the YouTube and in the Tradecaster, and you'll get 15% off your order. So why not? Until tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. every day, we hit it hard. We go fast. We like to do our analysis and make our money. Green on the week so far. Let's going to continue that tomorrow. We're going to execute at these levels. Let's see what develops over the next few hours for this session so we can use it tomorrow. If I hop back on, I'll let you know. But for the most part, we are done till 8:30 tomorrow. We will see you then. Peace out.